Hello.
Hello.
Welcome everybody to the midday / how to trade. Thank you so much, Obi, for being back here today. We're going to talk today about depth of market and kind of some market depth basics. But for now, I mean, we can kind of let people roll into the chat for a moment. MM saying, hola, Obi.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Andrew Chow, Spark Shop, Poisonot, The Hayes Records, Renata, Patrick, Michelle Lloyd, Paul Milligan, everybody rolling into the chat here. Thank you so much all for being here. We're very happy to be here and to chat today. How has the trading been going for you so far today, Obi?
It's all right. Could be much better. I guess that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm curious for Neil's segment as well on the risk management. I got to do a little better with my risk management today. A little dealing with just a little bit of a skosh bit of tilt today, but trying to manage my emotions as well as possible. But yeah, let's see what we got in store. But yeah, no, I see that you just sent me this the article for the topic for today. But yeah, no, I hope Sharif's feeling better soon. But yeah, let us know how your day is going in the chat. What have you guys been trading? Very, very strong market. We kind of talked about that. That push yesterday, and I was like, oh, we're almost back to that 17, and then lo and behold, we're testing that 69 as we speak. So pretty strong there in the past couple of days, especially after last week's little bit of a pullback. And yeah, how about you? How's your day been?
It's been good. Just keeping an eye on the markets and being very entertained by the SPCE drums on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
Neil and I were talking about that this morning, so I'm really excited as well to hear his risk management segment because we talked a little bit about it and very interesting stuff. Also, I'm trying to get involved in this meta, but I'm kind of thinking that's not happening, so I'm just going to cancel this. Basically, my initial plan for meta was to get, I mean, this is like, to me, looked like a bull flag pretty clearly. And why I wanted to get involved was, I mean, like we had this beautiful swoop to the upside. Mizuho giving Meta a street high price target of $470. So that's more than $100 over where we're trading right now. So pretty significant. I was trying to get in this around this 367.40 area. That's $1 away now. I keep trying to get in too low, but we're gonna see if we have an opportunity again. It looks like we've broken out of this formation, unfortunately, without me being there, but I do think Meta is a pretty good look. Strong name, strong catalyst. Not a Meta move this morning, a pretty mega move for this member of the Meg 7. So I like this look. Also, you know, I'll pull up Tesla here because I'm seeing Jacobo Rivera in the chat. Hi, hello. How do you see Tesla? Do you think it is the bottom? I mean, I think I'll look at it on the intraday first. I think Tesla, literally as we pulled it up, just broke to the high side. This looks like a very strong area of consolidation, though, this 235 area. So I think it breaking 235 would be interesting. I know yesterday, too, we were talking about with regards to NVIDIA, Obi was saying, you know, like that sometimes there's confluence at these like key price levels, like for NVIDIA, that 535 break was pretty key, you know what I mean? So Tesla 235 could be something. It's interesting that we kind of keep getting close and then breaking back down here, but I think, let me look at the daily here on, oh my God, I trade this name way too much. Tesla. Yeah, I think, yeah, this 234 looking interesting on the daily as well, because look, we keep kind of bouncing off of it decently. We'll have to see what we do here. But I mean, like wider term too on this daily chart, I think this double top of 265 is nothing to scoff at, because we hit it, we fly back down. We hit it, we fly back down. I don't think this is insignificant necessarily. So I want to keep an eye on Tesla 265 kind of in the longer term. And we kind of do it again here as well in the June 2023. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, I think us breaking above this 235 level with a vengeance could be an interesting look for Tesla in at least intraday. Any names you're looking at right now before we get the lesson kicking off here?
Nothing too crazy. I was watching Softy. Softy's breaking out of a 1-month consolidation high. Visa's pushing all-time highs as well, so I have that on watch. Still kind of waiting for Visa to come in. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, so Visa did push a little bit past its all-time highs and made some new highs today, 265s, but we're pulling right back in. So I'm just gonna be staying a little patient to see if it does catch any little bit of strength. But softy off of that 1 month consolidation. Oh boy, was that very strong. And yeah, I didn't necessarily play it too right. I only have two things today written down on my sticky. One is Visa, one is softy, and I did try the softy long, 378, and then I just started going short for dumb reasons. So got to do much better. Got to do much better than that. But as of right now, I'm not really looking at anything too crazy. I know Nvidia obviously on watch, obviously in play, one of the leaders in the market as of late there as well. But yeah, making new highs. We broke that. I think it was 543 that we were looking at yesterday. Now we're slowly pushing to the upside there. Still holding on to trend, holding above VWAP as well. Yeah, very, very strong strength on some of the tech names today. So nothing too crazy. Those are the few things that I'm just watching for today.
Nice. Yeah, I also just saw, this is a little bit earlier, but I have to recognize this. Darwin in the chat saying, Amazon, you were the chosen one. I just got a kick out of that, so I wanted to read that out there. Thank you to Darwin for that. For now, we're going to get it popping here with our lesson of the day, talking about depth of market. We've been talking about market depth all week. We had a nice conversation about tape reading. We went into dark pools yesterday, and Neil gave us a really nice how-to on dark pools. But right now, we are going to talk about like depth of market, I guess, in a more broad sense, right? So what is depth of market? So it's basically the measure of the supply and demand for liquid tradable assets, and it's based on the number of open buy and sell orders for a given asset, such as the stock or a futures contract, right? So the greater the quantity of those orders, the deeper or more liquid the market is considered to be. So I guess, like, when we talk about volume, this is kind of what we mean. You want that extra liquidity, right? We were talking about that with dark pools and how that kind of relates to liquidity yesterday. So I think this is kind of a nice jumping off point from there, diving into the deep end of depth here. Depth of market data is also known as the order book, since it consists of a list of pending orders for a security, asset, what have you. The data in the book is used to determine which transactions can be processed. And it's available for most online brokers, either for free or for a small fee, depending. But how do we actually understand depth of market, right? How is this kind of interpreted or understood? So by measuring real-time supply and demand, market depth is used by traders to assess the likely direction of an asset's price. It's also used to gauge the number of shares that an asset that can be bought without causing its price to appreciate. So if a stock is super liquid, it has a large number of both buyers and sellers, and a buyer can purchase a large block of shares without causing substantial stock price movement. And that's what we're talking about with regards to dark pools, where they're kind of preferred in that way because it's less likely to kind of offset the balance if you're processing them through the dark pool system, right? And that's how we get these dark pool wicks. So I think that's kind of interesting there, how this connects. However, if a stock isn't super liquid, or if it's not particularly liquid, it doesn't trade as constantly. And that's why, like these stocks that have like smaller volumes sometimes, or the stocks that are, I guess, considered day trading stocks, those are, I guess, a little bit harder to trade for that reason, right? Because if you purchase a block of shares, it might have a more noticeable impact on the stock's price if you're in one of these less liquid stocks or more illiquid stock. So the depth of market is usually displayed as an electronic list of outstanding buy and sell orders organized by price level and updated in real time to reflect current activity. So kind of what we've got going on here. We're talking a lot about level 2 and order books on the day that we did tape reading, so that was Monday. What a week. But yeah, so we got here like all the list of the prices, and see we're updating constantly as things change, talking here about depth of market and the order book. And so they basically just allows users to see a full list of buy and sell orders pending execution, along with the size of the trade, rather than just the best options available. So how is this data used, I guess, right? So it helps traders to see where the price of the security may be heading in the near future as orders are filled, updated, or canceled. So just real-time updates, right? A trader might use market depth data to understand the bid-ask spread for a stock along with its current volume. So understanding spread is really important too, because that can give you a sense of liquidity as well. So there's just a lot of cool elements to this, something I'm still learning about, something that I find really interesting. A trader might use market depth data, for example, to understand the bid-ask spread for a stock and its current volume. Stocks with a strong depth of market tend to be these popular large cap companies. So Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, all these names, right? And they usually have strong volumes and are quite liquid, which allow traders to place large orders without significantly impacting the market price. But securities with poor depth of market tend to be more obscure companies with smaller market capitalizations, or I guess these names that aren't typically considered day trade names. Also, thank you for zooming in there. Here's my Nvidia. We can see like we're updating constantly here. We've got the spread updating different orders, the amounts of the orders, the times, like it's a constantly evolving, and you can see we have some orders waiting here for a while, like 10:59. So yeah, I think this is kind of interesting, kind of cool, and thank you guys so much for zooming in so we can kind of see here. And yeah, I think kind of an interesting look, and hopefully we can see like how quickly this actually moves and why this is such a cool tool that I'm still learning a little bit more about as I dive deeper into my trading journey here, right? But basically being able to view the depth of market for a particular security in real time allows traders to profit from short-term price volatility. So, for example, when a company launches its initial public offering or its IPO, right, traders can watch its depth of market in real time, waiting for the opportunity to buy or sell shares when the price reaches the right level of demand. And I think, yeah, watching any order books or anything like that, or the tape, what have you, during these IPOs is, I think, really interesting. So when ARM had its IPO, I mean, it's not right now, but I'll just pull up ARM because I haven't looked at that name in a while. ARM having its IPO, this was the first IPO I witnessed, and watching this thing jump over $60 once we hit that 60 mark was really interesting because it kind of shows you the intent and the aggression with which people are getting involved, right? So I think that's really interesting. I think that was a really good thing for me to learn. But yeah, so basically, so yeah, if you watch the depth of market in real time, you can just kind of see the right level of demand that you're looking for. And so I think, yeah, that's kind of the basics here in depth of market. We will go over it again as we are wont to do here on the market or the midday / how to trade. But yeah, I think that's kind of the basics, and I think really interesting. Like even pulling up ARM here compared to NVIDIA, look at how much more slowly this is moving, right? Like this book is just kind of like trotting along compared to what we see often on stuff, you know, like NVIDIA that we just had pulled up, where NVIDIA is still moving with a swiftness. Also, I was seeing the super chat here. Thank you so much to Michelle Hebert for the $10 super chat. ETH BTC ratio reversal. See trading view. Bottom at 0.048 yesterday, lowest since June 2022. Money usually rotates from BTC to ETH, then ETH to alts like Cardano, etc. Time to go all in Doge. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm going to start with just pulling up the ETC BTH on TradingView. While I do that, how are you seeing anything looking good here in the markets?
Nothing too crazy. We're kind of pulling back a little bit heavy here. 4,800. We kind of saw how ES interacted with that 4,800 yesterday, and we're coming back into that to those areas. So I think finding that kind of interesting as well. And yeah, no, I don't really use depth of market that much, but yeah, that's something I can definitely be learning. And I guess today we're going to be doing some more learning alongside you guys here. So I don't really have like a broker account connected to the TradingView, but like this is a quick example of the DOM here. On TradingView, kind of just it's not really like a full book or whatever you want to call it, but you can see different prices and different participants potentially that are moving around, right, with the respective size that they're sitting at. So you can kind of see a deeper look as to like what kind of size and how the participants at different prices are kind of moving. And so you can see how this is kind of dynamic. You can see players kind of pulling in and out of different prices as well. I'm trying to find a proper chart here so I can give an example here. Like I've seen depth of market kind of windows, but yeah, no, it's a little bit different than the level 2 for sure. Here, this is a great little diagram here, but yeah, I'll just open it up so we can see it a little bit better here. So we can just talk through this as well. So like I said, I'm going to be doing this learning alongside with you guys. This is not something I normally use. So yeah, let's just go through this together. So this is kind of like a DOM window. Again, Adara talked about what it displays. It displays the market depth, current positions, and pending orders as well, right? So you got your sell side on the right here. buy side on the left with the prices in the middle, and then you can see at the highlighted mark, you can see the best bid and the best ask, and how much is really sitting there, and then further down as well. Like in this example, you can see that there's a what is this, 1,000 lots over here, right there, so it kind of stands out. You can see that further along, the traded price right here, what is it, 1725.25, so a little bit higher at 1726.50. There's an order for 1,000 lots or 1,000 shares, or whatever that is. So that's kind of like that's what it means by the depth of perspective that you can get by using the DOM. And obviously you have your position management, buy and sell things, buttons and windows to change your orders there. But yeah, that's a general outline of what a DOM window kind of looks like there, but not something I normally use. Yeah, no. Let us know in the chat whether you guys use the DOM to trade, or do you guys prefer something like a level 2, like we see here on our windows.
Yeah. Thank you for going over that. Also, too, I just want to. I appreciate you having the visual up too. I should have brought out the visual, but yeah, I think like mostly I kind of use it for like seeing kind of the movement we're seeing and like, oh, are there a lot of people in this stock? But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of ways to use it, and something I'm excited to kind of dive into and learn a little bit more about. I just want to get back to the super chat from Michelle Hebert. Sorry for the wait there. Just trying to like get a grip on this Ethereum Bitcoin chart here, and I'll pull up Doge in a minute for comparison. But yeah, I think what's interesting is this, and I mean, I want to clarify this before I get into this with I know, because this was a bit of a conversation in the chat yesterday with like regards to, I think I've just seen this in general with where it's hard to analyze levels on these crypto stocks because they kind of will move all willy-nilly, for lack of a better term. They do what they do. My analysis on this basically just like kind of looking at, we did have this this bottom after like a series of lower lows starting November 8th here, and this is the Ethereum to Bitcoin. Then we kind of almost had a double bottom here around this 0.5 cent area, so 0.05 area. Then we kind of had this nice bounce up. We made a we made the next higher high there. Looks like we're gonna maybe break this 0.054 area, so that could be definitely an area of interest. This has been kind of the local high as of late, so I think breaking that area could be fairly significant for Ethereum, Bitcoin. But of course, this one's really, at least in my limited experience with the world of crypto, kind of very influenced by catalysts, right? So we did have that massive catalyst on Bitcoin, cough, cough, the SEC tweet, cough, 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 where it was basically if you people aren't aware, we did have that SEC tweeting spot Bitcoin approval last night, and then being like, actually, nah, fake out. There was a breach of security. There was a hack, right? So that I think is kind of interesting. I think that's maybe influencing the price more so than technicals. But I wanted to look at the technicals anyway, just for the super chat. Let me pull up Doge. Doge USD. Oh, there's a little, I don't know what that is. A little dog dancing.
What happened? Oh, when you pull up Dogecoin, yeah.
So Shibu USD?
Just SHIB, I think.
Oh. First one, Kate.
Maybe the second one.
Yeah, I'll try. We're gonna find it. Let's try USD. Yeah, this is the one I pulled up. Oh. Okay, well, go back to Doge. But that's cool, though. I didn't know that. Thank you, John. Oh, I just pulled up the wrong one. Okay, trading view. There we go. But yeah, so it looks like the dogs are a little sleepy here. But yeah, Doge USD. I mean, I think we're definitely noticing lower highs here, right? I would say we're kind of seeing. Let me like fix. There we go. Seeing a little bit of a bottom around this 0.053 area. So we're gonna kind of have to see there's slightly higher low here. Now we're kind of where we had that resistance earlier at 0.07. We're seeing a little bit of support. So we're gonna have to see where this goes. Overall though, yeah, I think it'll take a little bit while for Doge to climb its way back up here. But I did enjoy the little dog that popped up when I pulled up the Doge chart. So yeah, I hope that helps. Thank you very much again for the super chat, Michelle. And sorry that it took me a moment to get through there. I wanted to make sure that I had all of the details on that. But yeah, I think one thing I'm learning too with regards to price analysis on stuff like crypto is it kind of will move in a bit of a different way. So yeah, I just wanted to pull that up. Hopefully we got a little bit out of that. Also, I'm still looking at, in terms of trades here, because we'll go back to depth of market in a bit, but we like to switch it up and keep it fresh. I do like NVIDIA here, how we're holding this 543.50, but I don't want to get involved just yet because I made, yesterday I got involved. I like where I got involved, but I set my risk parameters at kind of a weird place, and so then I got out too early, and then we broke 535. So I want to be very cautious about this and make sure I kind of set my risk appropriately for one of these kind of momentum plays. But I do like that we have these failed these wicks to the bottom that show that we had buyers overwhelming sellers. I like that look. I'm keeping an eye on NVIDIA. I also like the look of Meta. Because we're kind of continuing to inch higher, though I think I would need a decisive break of this, this 368.50. We've broken it, but I mean kind of a decisive break above instead of just chopping and turning around here for me to get kind of interested and involved. NVIDIA, though, looking really nice as we edge towards 544. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm watching NVIDIA as well. Nice little, nice strong trend to the upside. You can see kind of the peaks and troughs. They're just edging up to the up towards new highs, right? We've held that 540. We were holding that 543 from yesterday as of right now, right here, and then pushing back up towards high a day there, 546 as well. So a very strong trend on the chart there. And people talking about SoFi as well. So let's take a quick look at SoFi. SoFi very, very strong on the day, breaking yesterday's highs. Week high, though, is right there at that 862. So we're pretty much knocking on the door of that 3 pennies away on SoFi from breaking out toward, into high of week, right? So let's take a quick look at what the weekly looks like right here. So right there, we're pretty much a strong red week last week, and then we're kind of doing a bit of a reversion, it would seem, off of a hold of this above this $8 level here. So interesting look on SoFi. I'm curious to know which. Well, hopefully you guys are long, as it's pushing for those highs. But that dip in the morning, that was pretty crazy as well, kind of testing the lower end of the week. So it's pretty interesting when intraday you test both the lower end and then the higher end of the week, and it seems like SoFi's been in a bit of a range after that quadruped that it had going into the middle of last week there. I'm forgetting what the catalyst might have been on this one, but very
was a lot of
strong.
analyst stuff.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay,
just like
so,
a mix.
Yeah, so it's some sentiment causing strong selling on the stock, and we're catching a little bit of a range. Let's see whether or not the range can break. And speaking of range breaks, Softy, oh boy, this is the range break that I was kind of talking about earlier today. A little not so happy that I kind of didn't really capture this to its full potential. Again, I only had two trade ideas, and one of them was 378 long on Softy. And even though I did try it, I didn't really respect this VWAP hold. For some, I have no idea. I saw a little bit of a double top, got lost in the sauce right here, and then started going short into 380s right here. So what I had seen was just this much on the chart right here. High and then lower high kind of building into VWAP, and I was like, oh well, I guess it didn't really break out. 380s been a little bit of a level before we kind of came into this as well. So yeah, let me just go back, look a little left here. So where's that 380? That 380 is yeah, right here. So that 380 is in here. So I was like, oh, okay. So we attempted to push towards highs, and then we got to 385s, 386s, and then strong selling came off of that, and you got a little bit of a shoulder or a consolidation action right here in the 380s. So I was like, all right, well, if we're gonna fail this, I don't know. I was just looking for, talking myself into taking a bad trade, right? It's clearly a bad trade to kind of short the breakout. Even my own idea was to get long, and when I see just a little bit of nuance, just telling me that, look, okay, we're making lower highs. There's no reason for me to short. We're above opening range. We're holding VWAP. We're above pre-market highs. We're strong on the market. Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to kind of short the name. So I pieced off of that. I was like, all right, well, clearly you're not trading with the right mindset today coming in, and I just want to take a little bit of a breather, sit back, and wait for opportunities to kind of present themselves. And yeah, just if it's good enough for me to be like, all right, well, I want to put on some risk here, I'll be more than willing to take some there, but nothing really that I'm seeing right now. Renata is talking about UPST. Okay, so UPST, wow, a lot of tickers very, very strong today here. Kind of dipping into, what is this? This is another dip into week lows here on a name like this. Yeah, so Upstart pretty much lick grabs the week low and then breaks through the week high, and now we're consolidating underneath some new highs there as well. Look at that volume coming in just at that lower high at 37. I keep saying 137, but no, 37's a little bit of a volume candle there pushing into that level. So let's see what Upstart has to do. It definitely is got a decent start to the upside today on Upstart.
No, I like that. I like that. That's Arval at the bottom of your chart, right? Or?
Oh yeah,
oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
that's Arval. I've been using it a lot more to kind of work on my stock selection as well. And yeah, no, it's not too bad. Kind of just, it shows you where the interest is. Again, for those of you who are asking about what Arval is, just relative volume, right? So I have it here set to like a 5 period. So you can set it to 14 periods, to 9 periods, to whatever period that you'd like, and it'll take a measurement off of those. But no, I do like this relative volume indicator as well, just for the stock selection, just to let me know that I'm where I want to be, right?
So it's just like looking for I guess Confluence, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
right?
it can definitely be another factor of Confluence for sure, right? Along with all the other factors as well. But yeah, no, if a ticker normally does like 10 million on average, right? So right here. So what are we doing today? We're doing 1.6, 1.5, a little bit above that, and it's saying here the average 30-day volume is roughly 11 million, 11.6 on Upstart here, and we're already knocking on the door of doing 6 million, and it's only about halfway through the day. So, and we still have the closing volume, and we still have power hour, we still got the rest of the data print. So yeah, as of right now, in the morning session, we're doing a relatively higher volume than the past, I guess, 5 days. So I like the Arval indicator every now and then, but nothing too crazy, right? Just kind of just showing you if whether the stock is in play or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think that's a good way to put it. If it has decent Arval, probably a lot of participants in that stock, in that ticker, and if there's more participants, I think there's a lot more opportunity as well, kind of more chances for players being offside as well, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, so I guess I have a question, and this is kind of maybe a weird question, but what are the main factors of confluence you look for before entering a trade? And it's I know this is serious. I'm very curious.
Yeah, sure. I can speak on some there. I like volume, right? I like volume. I like price action, prices, ranges, consolidations, stuff like that. You can throw in some moving averages, but they don't really hold a higher weight of confluence for me. But yeah, no, there's definitely just different indicators and different types of behaviors and price actions and how the story kind of builds up is what I like to use for the confluence. But no, a simple one to point out is just VWAP, right? If we're doing a whole bunch of things and we're holding VWAP in a distinct way on certain times, on certain days, on continuations, on reversions and reversals, things like that. I think VWAP is a decent confluence to have here. And I was definitely not using that factor of confluence earlier today when it jumps into VWAP and holds strong and I'm trying to get short. I'm definitely working against what the data is showing me, and I'm using the confluence in the wrong way. And we kind of spoke on this yesterday, right? When we were talking about the tape. It's yeah, sure, we're seeing the same things, but we can all kind of act and infer them differently and behave around them differently in terms of how we're taking positions. Yeah, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, sometimes you're just trading on tilt. So
yeah. You know, and I think it's cool that I appreciate you speaking on that, because it kind of brings, when you were talking about, the whole story, it reminds me of, I think it was either last week when you were mentioning kind of the, No, I guess, no, it would have been Monday. The whole idea of like letting the stocks kind of tell a story, right?
Yeah.
You know, like the whole idea of like looking, kind of having like all these reasons to enter a trade kind of come together. And I think that's kind of interesting. I feel it kind of goes with what you're saying there. So I appreciate you speaking on that. And I think, yeah, it gives like a different sense about how everybody has different kind of, I guess, strategies for what they look for and why they enter trades.
It's just different perspectives, right? Like everybody uses the tape in a different way. Everybody uses VWAP in a different way. Everybody uses different indicators in a different way. And that kind of goes back to what people like to call the Bible of the of trading, right? John J. Murphy's book, just a TA book on all the different kinds of indicators and whatever, and how you actually use them and what the mathematical formula behind them are, right? Like if you have an indicator on your chart, you best properly understand what that indicator is measuring, who it was made by, what was the original purpose, and how that use has changed over time, and how maybe you want to be using it, knowing how others use it as well. So there's different ways you can kind of play the indicator game as well. But no, definitely indicators I think are an important nuance to trading, but it isn't the end all be all. At the end of the day, I do believe that price action is king.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, the indicator game. Also, Adam DeLuce here saying something about Microsoft. Microsoft found buyers around VWAP, and we got the bullish candle print, and to enter the long from there. I guess that was off what you were talking about earlier with Microsoft. Adam DeLuce just adding that in. So thank you for that POV there. Also, I think, who was it in the chat? Mr. Mems, I love that. Maybe pronounced memes. I really like that name. Saying, what about PLTR? Well, yeah, I'll pull up PLTR, and I see what you mean, because this is a heck of a look on PLTR. We have a decent kind of bottom here around this 1685-esque, but slightly lower, higher lows, lower highs, which is making me think we could have a bit of some kind of like flag or pennant breakout here, right? Because if we do get this these higher lows and lower highs, we could have a pennant breakout, and this would be a heck of a breakout if it did break out. Because look where we kind of began this pull at 10:15 here. 1648, we got up to about, right, yeah, no, let's say 16.4. We got up to about 17, so that would be a 60-cent breakout from wherever we break out, right? If we are to believe the general theory of the bull pennant, right? So I think this is a really good look. I really like how this one looks, and I think if we continue to kind of see that pennant shape, it could be a nice breakout. Also with regards to, I guess, indicators, like look at the volume we got into this breakout as well. Look at these volume candles here. There we go. As we broke out with a vengeance up to the 17. So I think this is a really good look. Looks really nice on Palantir. Let me see if there's any catalysts on this one. Oh yeah, I guess it's seeing a lot of demand in Israel. I guess it's doing well in Israel. So I think potentially why that's what I'm seeing here at Benzinga. But yeah, I think this is a really nice one that I'm seeing here. Elon saying in the chat, where is it? It's basically kind of like we must refrain from trading on tilt. Like today, we just take any profits rather than waiting longer. The longer we wait, the more we lose. Yeah, I think today is definitely kind of a herky-jerky kind of day. I don't know, phrase. But just kind of came out there. Yeah, and like even in video, like we looked really strong, and then we kind of fell off a little bit of this 543. So I think this is kind of an interesting look here, a little bit wonky here. Could be a Christmas tree retracement on this name. Also, Miss A saying, thanks Adara, your eval of C4 yesterday helped me. I mean, yeah, no, I don't know if I did anything, but happy to kind of help and look at the chart. I know this one was moving earlier today as well. C4 has been a nice look. Yeah, I mean, also kind of retracing now, but the bottom is still not going below this pre-market kind of area. So not necessarily the worst look of all time. The daily on C4 is still fascinating to look at. Like after we had that first kind of swoop to the upside on December 13th, we haven't really shown much signs of stopping. So really nice look still, the daily on C4 as we kind of make that $8 area again. So yeah, I think C4 is a really interesting one to analyze as far as these small cap gappers go. Also, okay, this is interesting. Freddie the Friendly Guy. Obi, did you see the news on Amazon laying off employees in Prime Entertainment? Yeah, because I know that was moving earlier.
Yeah, no, I did come across it this morning, but I didn't really think it would have any significant effect. But yeah, no, it just again at the end of the day, things can have catalysts, and that kind of points you in the direction of like where to look and kind of telling you what's in play. But no, I don't necessarily have any sort of bias because of that specific catalyst. I don't think it's really that weighted. We kind of talk about the weighting and how heavy to consider a certain catalyst. Just because it has news doesn't mean you kind of give the same weighting to all the news, right? That news versus, I don't know, Amazon getting into a deal with, say, like NVIDIA, or they release some like really good AI type of technology. They have a new product, maybe in AI or something like that. That kind of news versus a few layoffs, I think that's definitely weighted a little differently. And a lot of times, you got to remember, the large caps almost always have some sort of news, right? But when there's bigger picture news, bigger picture catalysts that are happening, then those are definitely much better opportunities to get involved, I think. But no, that drive off the open was quite nice. But I haven't had Amazon on my main screen, so I'm getting a little bit of a FOMO, missing some of these moves. But that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of other opportunities as well. But yeah, no, I do get a little bit of feel sometimes when I'm like, okay, well, 151 was nice yesterday. We held above that. And then today in the pre-market, we hold above yesterday's consolidation. Well, we consolidate above yesterday's highs in the pre-market, and then you just drive off the 152 right into 153, 154s almost. And I was like, all right, well, that's a continuation trade if there was one. And yeah, we're holding these 153s as well, pretty interestingly. So I am watching this very close. Again, if the move is going to be there, if the move is going to be strong, again, I do believe that there will be more opportunities that do present themselves. So it's not really about a FOMO thing, but yeah, no, if I was present in front of the stock off the open there in and around, I think I may have more than likely would have taken a couple fills there to try and piece off some of this action. On Amazon there. But yeah, kind of coming back in here, 16.9. We saw that in the pre-market session there. That was kind of the highs on the NQ as well, in and around that 6 a.m.-ish mark, and we kind of come right into that 16.9, and we're pulling back off. So pretty much sideways as of right now. So I do want to be wary of that. I'm also watching Visa. Visa, just like I said, I only have 2 names on the watch list today, or on the sticky note. Well, SPY, I guess SPY as well. Let's take a quick look at what SPY is up to. I wonder if that level came into play. Okay, so I have a SPY 474, Visa 264, and then Microsoft 378. So let's take a quick look at what SPY is doing with that 474 today. So I did kind of have it in interest yesterday. End of day consolidation. We kind of came up into it. It's a bit of an area, a bit of a level in and around these prices, in my opinion. Just looking left on the chart. So I was kind of looking at that 474 for a little bit of direction, and we did hold it quite well, pushing right back into day highs at those 475. So that's pretty interesting there. I'm curious to know whether we hold above previous day structure as well now. But that's just a SPY. I'm not really necessarily going to be trading it, more using it as a little bit of a compass as well. But Softy very strong on the day, pulling back off of 82 halves. That's kind of what I was looking at. 378 was a level on the sticky, and that does come in, and the VWAP hold right above as well. Where is my situational awareness there? Getting too lost in the sauce. I did try the long on this initial push, and then when it came back in, it kind of flushed in. I mean, I guess I can go over my chart and take a look at what I did there. And yeah, no, it is not a good sight at all. So I was trying to avoid looking back at it, but yeah,
I like that.
Not yeah, no, it definitely wasn't the back. It wasn't the backside for sure. It's a little bit of a chase punch. So this is what I'm talking about right here. I get a little long above it because I missed the 378. It comes in real hot, and I'm like, all right, well, if we're gonna hold 379s, I do want to get long, but like I said, I missed the trade, so I'm a little jittery on it, and I'm like, all right, well, I wanted 378. It gets up to 379. I know I'm chasing up here, and I see it push off the 380, and I see it make a lower high off the 380. Well, I'm like, all right, well, I missed the long, and we've just double topped at a 380, kind of a whole number, and we're making lower highs, pushing into VWAP, and I do get a little aggressive into the short, but I did follow one rule, my 3-strike rule, and I was like, 1 strike, okay, 2 strikes, all right. 1 more chance, 3 strikes, I'm gone. And yeah, so that kind of I guess that was a silver lining of that push there. But no, definitely clearly fighting the trend. The idea was to play the breakout long off the 378, 1 month consolidation, right? It consolidated in this area with a 378 and change high for a whole month. And then today, we're breaking out of that. We come in, we pull back, Confluence with VWAP, and then we hold that. Now, this is all in retrospect, right? I'm just reading out what the chart is showing me in retrospect. But in the moment, clearly, I did not have that read on. So I got to do much better with that. But NVIDIA pushing fresh highs and the market kind of pushing towards that 16.9. I should be a little bit more nimble on the shorts there for sure. Maybe not even think about the short because I gotta stick to my main idea, right? The problem as of late has been you miss the idea, you try to chase it a little bit, you get a little tilted, and then I try to go the other way, trying to fight the stock, which is again, I think that's a little bit more psychological than anything, and that's something I have to work on. Trying to work on it, but I guess still trying to figure things out. But yeah, exactly. Just follow the trend. It's easy to say in hindsight. But yeah, no, definitely got to come up with better structures, better rules, because I am falling to the level of my systems as of right now.
Yeah, it's I think definitely. I think probably comes with time as well. Because I know for myself, like you think you see something and you want to be like on it, you get involved, and then doesn't always unfortunately come to fruition. Yeah. And that kind of brings me to this, like you can see patterns, they won't always work out, right? Boeing. Do we want to fly to the high side or do we not? We're up about 150 on the day, 1.5%, not 150 or $1. But basically why I like this is, I'm gonna draw this out here. Look at this sort of, again, I can't draw trend lines, bull pennant, I think, forming here. We have the bull flag, the flagpole starting basically from open. We swooped up here, 226 to 229.50. So this is about a little more than $3 of a breakout. So not a bad look at all. I'm looking to get involved if we hit 229 because we keep bouncing off that area quite nicely, but we're not quite hitting my fill, which is unfortunate. I would take some of my profit taking, should I get into this trade, above this 229.50, so that'd be about 50 cents, then hold a piece for the dream. If we can get out at 230, I will not be upset at all. So I do like the look here of this Boeing look. We did have a little bit of a less negative catalyst. I don't want to say positive catalyst because Boeing has not been in the news for anything remotely positive over the last little bit. But basically the CEO saying they were going to take accountability and update people as they get more news on the fuselage blowout mid-flight. So that's definitely going to be of note here as well. Also, someone mentioning AbbVie in the chat here. Thank you, Chef Joe, for the update on AbbVie. I'll pull up AbbVie, but I also want to look at Lilly. Because Lilly, we had a skosh of a catalyst on earlier, or I guess yesterday after market close, with the CEO saying we see Mounjaro growth coming into 2024. Okay, hi AbbVie. AbbVie exec says see Botox return to market growth in Q3. We'll continue to see momentum in Q4 and Botox share position. Yeah, I think interesting look. Kind of falling a little bit. It could be a little retracey. It looks like we had kind of a solid top here at this 164.70, but what a look, like popping off here at 11.15, like swoop to the upside. Nice volume candle on this. Sort of making a lower low. If it can maintain though, I like my pharma stocks, and that brings me to Lilly. So Lilly very rangy right now in a way I like, but we're not at a milli, so I'm not getting involved yet. But I mean, like, look at this kind of bottom around this 628, topping around 630. I would be interested in playing that range should it continue, because this is the type of movement I like. This is a stock that, for whatever reason, I enjoy trading. Should it have the volume I need to get involved? Because that's what we're talking about, like liquidity and market depth, right? That's why I've in the past tried to trade stocks like Eli Lilly or Netflix as well. I've done this with where there's just not enough volume. And when you don't really have that liquidity, when you don't really have as many players in the game, it's a little bit harder to play. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of note and something I would like to keep an eye on here, just because I do enjoy the ranginess of this. Speaking of range, I want to pull up NVIDIA because I don't want to get involved. Oh, NVIDIA's not an NY stock, Adara. Come on, man. But it is a NASDAQ stock, and I want to keep an eye on it because what I'm liking is lower lows and lower highs. But I do not want to short NVIDIA at positive 2% on the day, not yet. Also, I would be doing it rangy, like, kind of scalpy. I wouldn't just be sitting in this short because I don't like that. But I mean, I want to kind of I want to make sure I get it on the back end, right, on the back side of the movement, because I think that's where, I've made mistakes in the past with stocks, and I appreciate you saying that earlier. I think that, really good look here, so I want to make sure I'm careful, but I do like that we can't really eclipse that 545.5 right now. Also, I want to take a moment to thank our lovely sponsor, Surge Trader, because we are brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million. Trade indices, including the Dow, S&P, Russell, NASDAQ, oil, gold, BTC, and Forex pairs. So you got it all going on there. Oh yeah, sorry. And there's also the QR code going on there as well that you can take a look at there. And you just go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off. So there we go. I think that's definitely an interesting look there on NVIDIA. And thank you, as always, to Surge Trader. And you have the QR code there on the corner if you want to take a look at that.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Graph88 in the chat talking about Unity, and I did just pull up Unity, and I was like, wow, what's going on over here? We're kind of reverting pretty much what happened yesterday. Yesterday's strong little flush off the open there, and then kind of through the pre-market. I don't know what the catalyst might have been there. Okay, so I guess someone sold shares, I guess, apparently. But I gotta look more into that. Right now, the price action is just showing that very strong bid right back into yesterday's opening price here. What was yesterday's open? I'm curious to know that right there. 930. What is the opening price? 38.57 is the opening price of yesterday, and we are pretty much a few pennies away from that there, about 30 pennies roughly away from that yesterday's opening price right here, 57, yeah, so about 40 pennies away. Off of that, but very, very strong trend to the upside on the day. So I'm curious to know how many of you are involved in Unity today, as it is quite strong there. I don't know how many other tickers are as strong as this, but I'm looking at some of the volume gainers on the exchanges here. I don't really see Unity, but let's take a quick run through some of these volume leaders, because I'm sure at least a few of you are a little involved if you are trading some names on the day with a few of these volume leaders. All right, so Tesla kind of holding on to yesterday's range there, pretty much a range between that 235 and that 232 it would seem, and we were pretty much kind of coming right back into that kind of action there as well. So decent move on Tesla, very distinctly different from the rest of the market here, as most of the tech names or the large Mag 7s are mainly trending up on the day here. I do want to take a quick look at Google as well, and yeah, sideways. Okay, so not as strong there. But Mara, of course, Bitcoin is definitely on watch, on everybody's watch. And yeah, I just wanted to take some of those lines out of the way so we can see the chart a little properly there. I was looking at Mara as well today, but didn't necessarily get on my trading plan yet, as yesterday's kind of wick of this 27 was definitely interesting to me. We know that Bitcoin is catching a little bit of a breather off of this strong push that we did get into the 14.7s, 14.8s, sorry, 14.8s. 47 sevens and 47 eights on Bitcoin there, and a little bit of a pullback. So yeah, cooling off on a name like Mara is definitely there. And Clear Mind, who are these guys here? Apparently they're doing some volume. So let's go to a lower time frame and check out what these guys are up to here. Anybody trading CMND, Clear Mind Medicine? Right here, what do these guys do? Psychedelic pharmaceutical biotech company. Interesting. So that's a very strong move. Again, it's a biotech. What is the float on this thing? That's usually the first thing I like to look at. 1.5 million float, and it trades at about $3. So. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting look there. But yeah, it's something I don't necessarily usually get involved with. But yeah, not necessarily my cup of tea anymore. Let's just say that. But yeah, let's go back to the volume leaders here. SANA, Sana. So I guess a few biotechs kind of running today on some news here. I'm wondering what the news on this one was. Track records for record percent increase. Okay, interesting. What about this biotech here? Oh, that's something. Completed a Type A meeting with the FDA. That's definitely a little bit more weight in my books there versus that other one there. Police report. We recently met with the FDA to align on the content of our IND resubmission. Okay, so I guess no real approval, but they had a meeting, right? They had a meeting, so we're getting a little bit of a move on maybe some anticipation for future FDA approval here, as people were piling in on a news report that said, "Hey guys, we met up with the FDA for a drug we're working on." So it's definitely an interesting ticker there. But okay, so we got Juniper here, a recent buyout as well. Kind of doing what buyouts do there. And AMD is on the list here too. AMD, yeah, I kind of want to talk about what AMD did this morning. Absolutely wild. I wasn't necessarily watching it, but all of a sudden I was like, I see it from the corner of my eye. I have it on a chart, and shout out to Josh in the back too. He goes like, "What the hell was that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, AMD. What was that?" It kind of grabbed the pre-market highs, and I'm like, I didn't really pay too much attention to it after that, but grab pre-market highs, and look at what it's doing after that. So that was some distinct kind of price action there that all came in very, very quickly there. I don't have a 1 second chart here, but you know what? That price action, even on the 1 minute, take a look at that wick. These prices were printed, and we slammed right back in through the 150 and only sold off after that kind of action there. But that was pretty wild there. So I don't know if you guys caught that action in the morning there, but it would seem as if since then we are looking a little bit heavy, as we're trading below VWAP, we're trading below this action that we had in the morning, and we're looking a little weak coming into low a day. So I'm curious to know if that 4670-ish, 4666 low a day will come in anytime today on AMD. But this action, interesting and distinct in my opinion. But again, I wasn't really watching the tape. I don't necessarily know the size and the type of orders that really went through. All I saw was a candle kind of rip through the highs from all the way down here and then slam back down from the corner of my eye, and I'm like, that's definitely out of place. And yeah, so that was an interesting action on AMD today. It'll be interesting to see what we do going forward after we've done that with the 150 on AMD. So I do have my my ears perked up for that, to see if anything's going to be coming down the line on AMD, and where we go from there off that 150. But yeah, of course, NVIDIA kind of just slowly trekking up, holding VWAP as well, kind of pulling back into VWAP. We saw that yesterday, very strong day, and pulls back in to VWAP at the end of the day there, and doing a little bit of a continuation off the morning in the morning session. We do make new highs up into the 550s, right? $500 ticker. Can we do 10% in the first week that it breaks off of new highs? It would seem like it did. So interesting move there on NVIDIA off of that longer time frame, bigger picture. Everybody's got their eyes on type of move there through the 500 on NVIDIA. Next one kind of being NEO. We saw what Tesla's doing. Tesla's pulling back a little bit as well. So NEO, a little bit of a fader on the day as well. But yeah, what are you looking at there, Adara?
I got in and out of an NVIDIA short, and I'm pretty happy with how it worked out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I obviously did not take as much profit as I could have, but like I said, like my strategy is very kind of scalpy, and a lot of my profit takers are reliant on where we had our most recent kind of low for a short and then high for a long, right? So I got involved because I saw we were kind of breaking down this 543. If we decisively broke above that 543.5, aka a higher high, I was going to be outie, but we didn't do that. We actually held 543 really well, and then we kind of swooped to the downside. I wanted to take profit just slightly below where we had that most recent kind of trough there, which is that 542.30-ish. I got out around 530. Sorry, not 542.40. I keep getting the numbers wrong in this video. But yes, this was about a 60 cent. I'm in that sim, so it was like 60 fake cents, but 60 cent scalp on NVIDIA, really small size. Just kind of trying to get into the habit of being comfortable getting in and out of trades when I see something that's moving that I like where it's going, right? And a part of how I'm dealing with that is taking smaller share sizes when I'm not really sure. And something like NVIDIA, I didn't want to risk too much, you know what I mean? So also, yeah, someone in the chat was saying I'm getting a little less impetuous. I appreciate that, trying to be a little bit more careful before I get involved in these moves. I kind of got this on the back end, so I'm happy with my point of entry on this. And yeah, I'm noticing too, NVIDIA picking up a decent amount, seeing a little bit of support, just a skosh here on this 541.50, 541.75 area. I want to be cautious because if we do that, this could be the neckline of a head and shoulders. So I don't want to make any assumptions. You know, as Sharif was saying, participate, don't anticipate. But I do kind of like what's happening here for this, you know, potential short moving forward. If we go back down at this 543, I might get back in the short at 543. The boring man saying, did you see double top at 544 for your reason for shorting NVIDIA? What chart are you? Because I've noticed kind of I'm on the 5 minute here. What I was seeing on, oh, I guess, yeah, you're right. 5 minute, there is a double top at 544. My apologies there. Yeah, no, my reason for getting involved, though, was just these higher, lower highs, lower lows. That's what I liked here. So, yeah, I think that's kind of why I enjoyed this trade. But I see what you mean, this kind of double top. And the other thing, too, that I liked with regards to that double top at 544, so thank you for bringing that one up. I like that we had these kind of failed wicks to the upside where we see these buyers or these sellers overwhelming buyers here. So I did like that 544 look, so I appreciate you talking about that. But I do think, yeah, I mean, if NVIDIA holds up around this 541.50, I think it could be, I would give it probably around 543, but we'll have to wait and see what occurs there. Yeah, some JIR saying it's head and shoulders. That's why I'm waiting till that 543. Oh, impetuous, people pulling this up in the acting were done quickly without thought or care. Yeah, so just being not super careful or cautious.
I've definitely been how do you say it?
Impetuous.
Yeah, I've been guilty. That's what I'm trying to say. I've been guilty of that. Yeah, I've been guilty of that myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have, and that's why I appreciate that person saying that in the chat. And that was their word, not mine. I just used the word because I like the word. But yeah, a little bit feisty and a little bit quick to the draw. So I'm happy I didn't do that here because we know we're on the how to trade. We're about learning and growing. We're also about market depth today, which we're gonna roll back into after Neil's cameo, which is not quite yet, but hold on, I'm sure it will be soon because we're nearing 12 o'clock. Very excited to see what happens there. And yes, update here. I feel like a sports announcer, but I need to give one final update in NVIDIA. This pickup at 542 is really nice. Also looking at Meta. Continuing to do this thing where it kind of gets to a level, stalls at the level, swoops down, and then pushes back up. So I like how this is looking here. I want to see what happens if we kind of break above this 370 area. I think that could, you know, like decisively, not 370, at 370.50. I think that would be a nice look. Also, the boring man asking me to look at Tesla. A couple people asking about Tesla. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the board man saying, can you look at Tesla as it touched 200-day MA now? Yeah, I think Tesla is interesting, kind of intraday. Wuko saying Tesla high or low. I see Tesla high or low. I also see Tesla low or high. So I don't want to make any assumptions about what this one's doing. It looks a little compression wedge-ish. We're slightly down on the day. I'm going to just kind of draw again. Apologies for my inability to draw trend lines. Hopefully we'll get there someday. But yeah, we're kind of, I like trading the ranges, but to me this range is so ill-defined that I wouldn't want to get involved. And I only say that because, as Wuko pointed out, higher lows, we have lower high. This is definitely quite the look here. William James putting it pretty astutely here, actually. Tesla stuck in the mud. I would agree. I think Tesla needs to kind of break out of this range here that I very poorly drew for us to get a little bit more momentum going there. How you doing over here? Still kind of keeping an eye on everything?
Yeah, still keeping an eye on everything. Like I said, nothing too crazy. I do want to I was looking at Amazon here, strong on the day, right? And look at this look at these VWAP holds here on that 153, a little bit of a confluence with 153 plus VWAP and still holding. Sean, are you still long a little bit? I will take that as a yes. So Sean's still long on the Amazon, and rightfully so, as we kind of held yesterday's structure, a bit of a distinct drive off of that 148 into 150, 151 holds quite well. And then coming in today, dollar club for sure, consolidation. 152.50. Wow. Wow, that's like, wow, nice. So consolidation lows right there. And did you get in before 10 o'clock or after 10? In and around 10? Wow, literally at the bottom. Like you caught, wow. Okay, nice trade, Sean. That's solid. Lower end of the consolidation.
My third time in though.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. So he said he's tried a couple times, and that kind of goes to show that, like, yeah, you can have the idea, but you gotta stay kind of persistent with continuing to try the idea over and over again until the trade kind of starts to work for you there. Because it's not necessarily going to work right away or on your first try at least every single time, right? Some of the best trades, yeah, they work right away, but yeah, it's not that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. But a couple of tries there. Saying Sean for that 152.5, and yeah, that was a little bit of a base. And then we reclaim VWAP and hold as well, so pretty strong on the day is Amazon. But these 154 highs, like I said, looking left, sellers right here. This is there's proof in the pudding right there. Sellers coming in off of a consolidation that we have for a couple weeks there. I think 8 or 9 days roughly. And then coming right back into the high of this consolidation range at that 154. So that's definitely a little interesting to me. Let's see what we do. VWAP hold is interesting as well. We're kind of compressing into that upper end of that previous range after recovering quite strongly. So we've definitely built up some pressure on this move. I would think so. So that 155 maybe in the stars in the coming weeks, but we'll have to wait and see. I have no idea. But this consolidation from before is very interesting, and the fact that we're testing into those highs, I'll keep a close watch on the Amazon as well. Nvidia coming right back in to VWAP there, Adara. So you're not wrong on the short as it comes right back in and reverts all the way down into VWAP. So that was definitely a decent look. 540 coming in, looking a little heavy here. Let's see if VWAP gets bid right back up like it did in the morning session here. This consolidation was quite distinct before we kind of pushed off into fresh highs there. Previous day high being at that 543, but coming right back into VWAP. I will be closely watching the tape like we did yesterday to see if there's any firming up of the bid here.
Yeah, no, I think NVIDIA will be a good one to enter. But for now, we're entering Neil's segment. Thank you so much, Neil, for talking today about, I think you mentioned risk management. So I'm very excited to see what this entails. And thank you so much. We're going to pass it off to Neil for the time being, but we'll be back.
Thanks, everybody. We're going to do a little bit of a lesson today. And sometimes we'll talk about something very stock related, but something happened. And if you were paying attention to the nonsense that was the SEC Twitter account and dropping this Bitcoin ETF false tweet, it immediately made me think of something that is useful to every single trader, just useful in life in general, when it comes to risk management. So the long story short, there was an erroneous tweet sent out by the SEC when everybody's already expecting the approval to come today. This tweet was yesterday. Everyone's on guard for it, saying that Bitcoin ETF approval were through and made. There was a crazy price action. Coinbase in the aftermarket went up $4 and then down $8 when they realized it wasn't true. It turns out that there is the possibility that the SEC did not have two-factor authentication on their Twitter account. And that is absolutely a fail, if it's true. But it made me immediately think of something. And that is, if you are the SEC and there's that big of a deal, if you send things out, they can move the market and real money can be made or lost by people, why would you not take such a very simplistic step? Whether or not this is the problem, why wouldn't you take a simplistic step to mitigate that risk? And it's something that actually plagues traders, I believe, all of the time. Because when you have a large downside risk, but it's a very slim chance of happening, we tend to ignore it. If you've never read Nassim Taleb and you've never heard of what a black swan is, then you should go ahead and read everything the man's ever written. This is similar to that. It's not exactly what he's talking about, but it is very similar to that notion. And we, as people, human beings, have a problem with this. I'll give you an example. I take the subway, I take trains all the time. How often do you see somebody standing on the edge of a platform past the old yellow line just because they're so casual, I'm not going to fall in? What do they have to gain from that action? Zero. What do they have to lose from that action? Well, they could slip, a gust of wind, someone could bump into them, they could lose their life. That's a 1 in a billion chance. But taking 2 steps back costs them literally nothing and is a 1 in a billion chance of saving their life. I use this example for a reason, because most people are going to listen to that and say, I'm still not taking a step back. But if I flip it around the other way and say to you, well, you have a 1 in a billion chance of winning Powerball, would you buy a Powerball ticket and before checking the number, tear it up and throw it out? Nobody would ever do that. There is no chance you would have a lottery ticket that's a slim chance of hitting, buy that ticket, and then rip it up without checking it. You're going to check it on the off chance that you won. So why is it that when there is a big upside that we can see, and it's a small cost, we're going to take that action 100 times out of 100? But if it's a gigantic downside, which a really, really small chance of happening, we won't take easy steps to mitigate that risk. It's like putting on a seatbelt. Two-factor authentication in that particular case. Taking a step back on the subway. Looking both ways before you cross the road. It is mind-boggling that we have these issues as human beings, and acknowledging them is one of the first steps. Now, the reason why this matters in trading is I have seen a few times traders blow up accounts because they did not consider low probability downside, massive downside risk. Where they're taking a trade and their risk isn't that they're wrong in the trade, their risk is I get caught in the aftermarket and there's no liquidity. I execute the trade before the oil number is out and I'm executing into a vacuum and there is no liquidity and I get stopped out for a huge move. I make a trade during an earnings call and my stop runs and there's no liquidity because the price thins out. Not that their technical ins and outs aren't good, but then when something parabolic happens, even if it's a low probability event, they find themselves caught up in it. You should always consider the massive downside risk and what you can do to protect yourself against it. I think it's crucially important because we as human beings, we think we're human beings, there's a few robots probably out there somewhere, Mark, but we as human beings are very susceptible to this issue. I'm giving you everyday examples of it. The SEC, they're the SEC. How could they not have had two-factor authentication on there? It seems so simplistic. But these simplistic steps that you can take every single day as a trader can sometimes save you a bundle. If the trading platform you're on comes up with a new gateway or there's a new way to execute, how much time does it take you to test it out, go over it, read the notes that they put out? Probably not much. Does it matter most of the time? It might not. But if it does matter and it becomes a big deal, you want to know. And I've seen that happen before. There was one time there were traders trading, and I'm not going to name any names, and I'll leave you with this. There were traders trading in the aftermarket, and making good money trading on earnings plays. And there's a rule on specific gateways about how aggressive your orders can be that you throw to the market outside of the market. So if you're using limit orders instead of market orders, you could only throw an order so far out. And I'm going to go to my chart here for a second to show you an example of why this would burn you. So here is Coinbase. Come to my chart here. Here is Coinbase aftermarket. The example I will give you is, imagine someone was going long in the aftermarket expecting an explosive move, and they don't want to use a market order. So they go long here and they think, oh, if it starts breaking down, I'm just going to cross with an order $10 down, and then I'll get liquidity back through 55. So 56 long. When 55 breaks, I'm just going to cross down like 10 bucks or 20 bucks. Doesn't matter. I'll get the best fill, whatever it happens to be. There was actual rule on the gateway they were using that limited how far they can cross. So what happened when 55 triggered? Instead of getting filled here, their order rejected. Rejected order, and it filled down there. That was a rule on that gateway. All you had to do is know that rule, change your order, and save yourself a 3, 4, 5% move. That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. The SEC taught us all a lesson yesterday about taking simple steps to avoid massive downside risk. And if you're a trader, you should be concerned with that every single day. In life, you should be concerned with that every single day. So that's my lesson. That's my rant. Watch out for that big downside risk and take all the simple steps that you can to avoid it. Save yourself a bundle of money, and maybe save your life. Who knows?
Thank you so much, Neil, for that.
you.
Yeah, Neil and I were kind of having this conversation earlier today as well with regards to the SEC kerfuffle, snafu, what have you. And yeah, I think it really, like, it's interesting. I like that you kind of turned that into a lesson that we could all learn from. So thank you so much, Neil, for that food for thought. So I think that's kind of an interesting look. Also, Nicole Harris chiming in here with the super chat. No account can be hacked and reestablished that fast. Tahi said compromise, meaning that someone hit sent versus send. Question, can we sue #retail buyer? Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know as much about that with regards to the legal aspect, truthfully, but I think it's certainly, you know, from what I've read, I don't want to, you know, cast aspersions here, but from what I've read, there's certainly the element of, you know, people are talking about market manipulation and how SEC can find people for doing similar to this. So I think it'd be interesting to get a kind of decisive answer here. Ian David saying the SEC needs to investigate the SEC. Yeah, I think more or less, right? We just, like, you know, it'd be nice to kind of have some kind of confirmation on what occurred there. But I think either way, regardless, especially if it was that two-factor authentication issue, which some people are saying it is, I think Neil hit it on the head there, regardless of what occurred with the SEC. And I think partially because of what occurred at the SEC, just remembering to make sure that we check your risk. So I think that's a really interesting point there. Also, yeah, NVIDIA bouncing off VWAP really nicely, like a little rubber band here, like swoop to the upside. I want to wait until we see a higher high until I get involved because we have made lower lows kind of decisively here. That's why I got involved in that short. But I don't dislike the look here at NVIDIA. I'm open to play NVIDIA in whatever direction it makes itself known to me. Also, Meta looking like it's trying to form another bull flag off of its OG bull flag. So we had a bull flag here in Meta. Then we had a nice breakout, consolidated a little bit, swoop to the upside. Now we're forming what looks like it might be another bull flag or pennant. We're kind of chopping and churning here around this 370. I don't want to get involved until I see a more decisive breakout, but I think this is a really nice look here. The boring man saying Boeing rocketing. I don't disagree, but I would maybe say it's flying. You know what I mean? Boeing's soaring. Boeing's in the air. Boeing's taken off. No landing in sight. Yeah, okay, I need to stop. But I think this is a really nice look here because we, like I said, I was trying to get involved with this at 290. Clearly 290 has eclipsed me very much out of the way there. We're pulling back a little bit, but this is not at all a bad look on Boeing, given the negative catalyst we've had. I guess all it took was the CEO saying, we're taking it seriously, and then this thing kind of flew. Also, I heard they had good deliveries as well, so I think that's potentially also part of what's going on with Boeing. But yeah, very interesting look. Also, thank you to Corey 2S for the 99-cent super chat. Just a cool dude with sunglasses going on there. Much appreciated. Ian David saying, Boeing leaving the runway. I love that. I love that. We're going to get to the lesson in a minute, but what are you looking at? How are you doing over here with the trades?
Nothing too much. Took a couple shots at the M's on there, but nothing too crazy. It is a raging to the upside, kind of back towards these highs again, very, very strong. We talked about that 153 VWAP hold being a little interesting, and we're pushing right back up towards these highs. And I think Softy as well. Yeah, look at that. All I saw was some of the green tape there, and yeah, Nvidia turning, Softy turning. We're kind of attempting to push back in towards that 16.9 as well on the day. So yeah, definitely some strength there. Boeing doing well there. But yeah, kind of going back to what Neil was talking about, I just want to thank Neil for kind of pointing that out. It's definitely important to kind of have that risk management perspective and that mindset, not just at the desk, but maybe in life as well. But I think I read a story somewhere, and I did observe that a few traders do this as well to manage their risk. He was talking about the subway, right? Like standing in front of standing right near by the ledge. I think what was it? It might have been in one of the Market Wizard books, I think, where certain traders were managing their risk in their life by only choosing to sit in the last car of the train.
What? Why?
Yeah. Because have you ever seen a train derailed?
No.
It's almost always that the last most cars are still on the tracks. The front part of the train is a big part of that derailment. But yeah, no, it's it reminded me of that kind of story, that kind of thing where like some people get very, very serious in terms of respecting and having that risk management in their life as well. And one of the ways is kind of only getting onto the last car of the subway or the train or something like that. Just knowing that like in the off chance that a train can derail or something happens, that you are probably in the least risk area on the vehicle. But yeah, interesting story indeed.
Thank you for bringing that up. I wasn't aware of that. Also, Neil saying in the chat, pilots tend to sit in the same seat in the car when in the back. Yeah, I think that's not something I knew about, and something I want to look more into. It kind of shows the extent to which risk managers, people who really are into risk management, will take that into their lives as a whole, right? Which is definitely what Neil was talking about, and I appreciate that for sure, and I think it's something I would like to take kind of more into account. Sweet and Salty Nut saying rear of the plane hits last. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's something I definitely want to look more into. Also, I do have Google up here. Someone earlier was saying in the chat, like it's Google, it's not Google. I get why you say Google, because the tickers are different. And I actually had that situation where I was in a Google trade with the GOOGL, and then I accidentally pulled up the GOOG chart and was like, where is my fill? And was freaking out, and I realized it's because I pulled up the wrong chart and they look almost identical, right? So there is a distinction. And but yeah, I was trying to get involved in this around this 140-170. Doesn't look like it's going to come to fruition. I like that area because it looks like a decent breakout point. I might just switch this and get involved at 140-175 because, I mean, I keep seeing these kind of nice compressed and wedgy breakout patterns here today. This would be a super tight stop, though. I'd be probably getting out part of the position if we fail at this 140-163 area and the rest at this 140-155, so very tight. Yeah, because I don't think you have to really search for a pattern here on Google. I think it's pretty evident here with this potential breakout, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But for now, we're going to transition back into depth of market. Take a moment for our lesson. So yeah, basically, we've been talking about market depth all week, or understanding market depth. And so here's kind of just like a primer, on some of the elements. So basically, depth of market is a measure, or DOM, D-O-M, is a measure of the supply and demand for liquid tradable assets. So it's based on the number of open buy and sell orders for given assets. That would include stock, futures contract, etc. And the greater the quantity of these orders, the deeper or more liquid the market is considered to be. So depth of market data is also known as the order book, since it consists of a list of pending orders for the security or asset, what have you, whatever you are happening to be trading. The data in the book is used to determine which transactions can be processed. DOM data is usually available for most online brokers. To understand depth of market, basically it's the measure of real-time supply and demand. It measures real-time supply and demand, so it is used by traders to assess the likely direction of an asset's price using this supply and demand, right? It's also used to gauge the number of shares of the asset that can be bought without causing its price to appreciate. If a stock is extremely liquid, it has a large number of both buyers and sellers. And that's when we see crazy movement, like a lot of these mega caps, which we'll get to like some examples in a second of what would be considered having a large depth of market, what would have more, I guess, a shallow depth of market. But yeah, something like all these mega caps, especially like NVIDIA, we were looking at NVIDIA earlier today, seeing how quickly that one moves. I think a really interesting look at an example of a stock that does have a pretty broad, intense depth of market there. So yeah, basically a buyer can purchase a large bulk of shares in a more liquid market without causing a substantial stock price movement. But if a stock isn't particularly liquid, it doesn't trade as constantly. Purchasing a block of shares in that case might have a more noticeable impact on the stock's price. And that was what we were talking about with regards to yesterday with dark pools, which is why those are kind of beneficial, because they allow you to make these larger purchases without it making a huge, impact on the overall system. Also, I just have to call this out. Elon saying BA stalling in the air. I appreciate that. Yeah, Boeing not doing too much, kind of falling back a little bit. But I just wanted to call that out quickly before I get back to the lesson, because I appreciate a good pun. And yeah, Boeing's a little confused right now. But yeah, so basically, depth of market is usually displayed as an electronic list of outstanding buy and sell orders, which is going to be organized by price level and updated in real time to reflect current activity. So let's look at, I've got my little Google right here. Let's pull up NVIDIA, because I think NVIDIA is usually, or Tesla's, yeah, here we go. Look at this NVIDIA. So we've got our little order book going on here. This is the book for NVIDIA, and we're seeing we've got the spread here, the bid-ask spread. We have all the little orders. We can kind of see what time they're put through. Someone's been sitting at this price, this $533.80 on NVIDIA since 9:53. I'm so sorry, sir or ma'am, or human. You're not gonna, I don't think you're gonna get that. I feel that you placed that before 10 a.m. on NVIDIA at 5:33, right? But it kind of shows you all of the orders sitting there organized by price. Kind of an interesting look here. And you see how quickly this is moving, right? This is a very, like I said, we'll get into examples later, but I think this is an example of something that has a very intense order book and a very deep market here. So yeah, and also I feel very badly for this person sitting at 533.80 on NVIDIA. But yeah, so basically most online brokers will offer some form of DOM display, which allows users to see a full list of buy and sell orders pending execution, along with the size of the trade rather than just the best options available. And so how can you kind of use it? Like, how is this data helpful, right? So depth of market data can help traders see where the price of a security might be heading in the near future as orders are fulfilled, updated, or canceled. A trader might use market depth data to understand the bid-ask spread for a stock. We were just kind of talking about this, like right now, we've got about the spread in NVIDIA. We have about an 8-cent, 7-cent spread, kind of depending, right? It kind of gives you a sense of that. And it also can give you a sense of current volume. And this is where we're talking about where we see bigger depth of market, and why I use NVIDIA as an example here. Stocks with a strong depth of market do tend to be these popular large cap stocks. We've got Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla, Amazon. Those kinds of names usually have a bit more interesting depth of market happening over here because they usually have strong volumes and they're quite liquid, and that allows traders to place these larger orders without super impacting the market prices. But securities with poorer depths of market usually tend to be these more obscure companies with smaller market caps, or maybe like these stocks aren't considered day trade stocks. They might have a little bit less going on intraday, right? And then the prices of their stocks are these less, these ones with a smaller depth of market. Prices of their stocks are usually likely to move more or move significantly if a single trader places a large buy or sell order. And so being able to view the depth of market for a particular security allows traders to profit from short-term price volatility. So for example, when a company launches its IPO, traders can watch its depth of market in real time and then just wait for the right opportunity to strike, to buy or sell their shares when the price reaches the correct level of demand. And like I said, I think watching the order book on ARM when that IPO'd was a really big learning experience for me, because seeing that occur live and just like watching this one shoot right up into 60 with taking no prisoners, I think that was a really interesting look. And I think it shows the extent to, especially in these more volatile or in-demand stocks, how these books can move. The Burke IPO was another example. I unfortunately tried to trade in that, and that was kind of a mistake. But yeah, I think it's definitely understanding order books can help with situations like that. Also, yeah, Patrick saying here, vis-a-vis par exemple, yeah, pretty funny there. But yeah, no, I think interesting. Also, I see you're in an Amazon short. Just quick before we get.
A little bit here. We kind of. For a nice little pullback into VWAP. We were having some healthy action kind of to the upside, but VWAP stays a little bit of a support. So we'll see if it can come back in and catch a little bit of a bid down at VWAP here. Softy also kind of excuse me, turning, and we are testing that 16.9 area as well, right? So that 16.9 comes in, we're making a lower high on the NQ. How much time is left for this 15-minute candle to print? We got about 5 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to print. So I'm just going to kind of continue watching this here. You can see that every time it has gotten up into these into the 80s, there very strong a wick there on the initial touch of the 153.80s, and then you make a lower high, and then you're coming back in. But the fact of the matter is, we are in a little bit of an uptrend there, but using VWAP as a little bit of a support. But take a look at NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA kind of pulling back in, going sideways. Has kind of the momentum. This momentum in the morning has kind of broken down, so we are pulling back a little bit. That 540 looks quite interesting as well here. So let's see what this 16.9 does here on the NQs. But yeah, no, thank you, Dara, for a quick rundown of the depth of market there. And I just pulled up I was showing that trading view, what do you call it, trading view DOM earlier. So I'm just going to pull this up right here on a depth of market kind of explanation on TradingView itself. So this is kind of a little bit better here. Each of these prices also show the volume as well. So I'm just going to go through this right here. So sells on the right side, buys on the right, on the left side, prices right here, and you'll be able to see different volumes sitting at each of these prices. And not only with the number of volume, you can see a little bit of a volume candle as well. And then obviously you have your own orders, buy and sell orders that'll show up on the DOM, so you can see where you're placed amongst the other players as well. Kind of an interesting layout, a little bit like the level 2, but giving you a little bit more depth into the market with these volume bars and yeah, depth of volume as well. So I think it's a decent look to kind of see the playing field we were talking about yesterday. How it's like an arena with different players, and even with the R volume, you want more players to be playing in that arena as well. So I think the DOM is a great tool. Now, I don't personally use it. I'm learning along with you guys just as much. So I don't know too much more about the DOM, but I do understand how it kind of looks like, and what are the basic kind of displays on the DOM itself like that. So here comes a little bit of the sell here. Let's see if we can get all the way down to VWAP. Now I got to trust my plan. I gotta wait and trust my plan here. VWAP is down in 53 and some change here. So let's see if the sell-off kind of brings us back into that range or not. As of right now, we're kind of catching a little bit of a bid as well. But yeah, no. So the topic today is on depth of market there. So I hope you guys are getting some value. And yeah, let us know in the chat. Do you guys use the DOM? How have you guys used it? Like we said before, just like the tape, just like indicators, I'm sure everybody uses it slightly differently. So if you guys want to chime in and look and kind of tell us what you look at when you are watching the DOM. If you do use it in your trading, feel free. I'm more than interested to understand and learn some new ways to use this tool.
Yeah, I mean, Fee rhymes with the AMC saying in the chat, I love trading options with the DOM, which is really cool. I think kind of a different way. And yeah, like I think it sums up what you said. Like everybody's going to use it differently. Everyone's going to kind of have find different utilities for these tools. So I think that's very neat that that Fee rhymes with the AMC bringing that up with options. I was not something I would consider or known about. So I think that's what's cool too about this trading community is everybody has different experiences, everybody has different things they personally enjoy and how they trade, and I think we're all kind of able to see a little bit of what everybody does, which I think is cool. Saw it in the chat saying, I like the level 2 and tape better than the DOM personally. It's much harder to read for me. Yeah, I like using the order book. Like I said, I find like that kind of gives me a level of prices sometimes, and that's how I was kind of able to identify some of those levels in NVIDIA for when that long yesterday, I didn't end up entering, but that NVIDIA long at it was 534. I was able to kind of see like, hey, we're looking at the level 2. We're looking at the book here, and I'm noticing we're kind of stalling around this area, right? Same with the short today. I really like looking at the kind of the price action we see in the order book. I would say that is pretty integral for me. But yeah, I think I definitely like, I'll look at these prices, I'll kind of see, hey, where are we showing support? Where are we seeing resistance? How quickly is the tape moving? That to me is, I think, a big thing that I kind of like using, but I'm trying to get, I guess, better incorporate the depth of markets. Hopefully, we're kind of learning here as we go, and hopefully everyone else is learning a little bit as well. And I appreciate everybody coming in with their POVs and their different takes. Everyone's going to be trading differently. Also, I'm kind of interested in Meta. I have a meta interest in Meta, not a mega interest, but I do like that we have these failed wicks to the downside. I would not go short on this, but what's making me kind of nervous is I feel like this could be a short setup. I do like, though, that we have these, buyers eating up sellers over here. I would take this at least to this 371.50, because that's where we had that previous top. Then maybe hold a little bit piece for a little bit longer. We're going to have to wait and see here. But I like that we're kind of holding this 370.80 area very well. It's something I'm noticing both on the chart here with the wicks as well on the order book. And I think that's why I kind of like to combine those when I trade, because I found if I mostly rely on the order book, then I enter things in places where it doesn't make any sense. But if I'm only relying on the chart, then I feel like the price entry isn't as good. So I think kind of combining is, I think, really interesting as well. 3 hours of the AMC, I like DOM because you can pick your specific price with stops, limits, trails, etc. You can set up selling templates. That's very cool.
Ooh.
That's very neat. Yeah, I like that. And I think, thank you for giving some details as someone who uses it on what you look for out of it. Also, NVIDIA Dollar Trade Club. Sean updating us, NVIDIA has entered the elusive exclusive Dollar Trade Club. I guess it's not that elusive and exclusive because NVIDIA's been there the last couple of days. But congratulations to Sean with that trade. And go NVIDIA. Wow, NVIDIA just making really a new higher high actually over here. Let's see what we do at 543.55. Oh, hot dog trade. I love this one. I like the little gold swirlies.
We're on 541.50.
Well, Sean is saying he's long 541.50. So very nice look here on NVIDIA. Yeah, this is almost a $2 winner. $2 club here for go NVIDIA and go Sean with that beautiful $2 club trade. Yeah, I think NVIDIA kind of getting around this 543.50 is really interesting because that was where we kind of previously broke down a skosh. I think it looks like we can eclipse that, so I think that'll be interesting. Depending on what we do at 543.50, I might get involved in some capacity, but if it's not, I like this earlier short on NVIDIA for me just because it allowed me to be a bit rangier because I just saw this consistent kind of lower high, lower high, lower high. So I'm gonna have to kind of see what happened. Mr. Memes saying the sticky note would have made a cool NFT.
Oh,
I agree.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That would have been a very fun time. But yeah, so I really enjoy that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think it'd be a cool NFT. I think there'd definitely be a lot of response for that NFT. But yeah, thank you for that as well here in the trade. Also, Trish OD saying, I always check the DOM before I make the trade. There's often a significantly large order in the order book that manipulates support or resistance. So I place my trade just before that.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for that insight, because I think too it's like, hearing what everybody has and why they like or don't like the DOM, and I appreciate people adding that as well because I think that's helpful. Yeah, I think it's interesting too, even just looking at the order book to see all of these orders kind of accumulate and some of the prices that people are sitting at for stocks, I think is really fascinating as well. So I think I think it's something I'd like to get a little bit better at instead of just using it to kind of just using the order book to look at price movements. So I think that is kind of a very interesting look. James Hill saying, LOL, what's the 90s movie where they lied about inventing Post-its at the reunion? I believe it's Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. I want to say I'm gonna double fact check that. Pretty sure that's it though. But yeah, yeah, Tube saying you are a new NVIDIA specialist. I don't know. I like the stock. I'm not gonna. I like Lily. If I'm gonna be specialist in anything, maybe I'll do Lily. But I'm not. I'm really not a specialist in anything. I'm learning every day, and we're all here to learn together. Also, yeah, so Bears vs. Bulls saying it was Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Shout out to Lisa Kudrow. But yeah, how was that Amazon short going?
It's still holding up there. That was some strength in the market there for sure. But still holding underneath that 16.9 for now. So I do feel a little comfortable in this for now. So we'll see. We'll let the trade play out here. I'm looking for that VWAP again. But yeah, what are you guys watching? What are you guys looking at on the day? What have you guys traded? I'm curious to know what some of the action is going on today. We went through some of those volume leaders on the day earlier as well. So yeah. I think just going down, continuing to go down that list as we weren't really finished before. We were talking about NEO, and then obviously Palantir. Palantir definitely on watch by a lot of people as well. But I do wanna kind of go with what people are talking about in the chat as well. So I think a lot of people mentioning Coin taking a little bit of a pullback. What is this price right here? 151's acting as a little bit of a resistance on the day here. Yeah, triple top potential here at that 151 on Coinbase. I'm curious to know what Bitcoin is up to. Yeah, okay, so right there, Bitcoin, let's see what BTC is up to. BTC is still kind of just in there testing the highs there, 45.8s potentially incoming, but those are the highs there. The high here specifically on over the past couple of hours there has been 45,700, and we're kind of pulling up into that area as of right now. Curious to know what Mara's up to. Mara is straight to the upside as well, kind of pushing back into this strong flush that we had yesterday in the pre-market, and some of the selling pressure has been coming in over the past couple of days, apparently at that 26.5 as well. So we're pushing right back up into some of those areas as of right now on Mara, with that Bitcoin move there potentially kind of curling back up to the upside as well on Coinbase, Mara, and Bitcoin. A little bit of a sympathy, but yeah, I think the approval is today. You are right on Chris J saying BTC approval after market today. I did read about that. So we should be getting some news anywhere in between 4 to 6 p.m. ish on the Bitcoin ETF. Any updates or anything like that? But that debacle that happened yesterday, that was pretty interesting, funny, and peculiar. Not to throw on any tinfoil hats, but definitely an interesting kind of action there on the SEC's Twitter account.
Oh yeah, that was something. That was very, very much something. Are you planning on trading one of these new BTC ETFs should they hit the market?
If they're going to be doing RVOL, which I'm sure they might be, I think I'll be looking for places to get involved for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good look, and I think I think it'll be very entertaining. Also, I'm seeing some people in the chat mentioning On Holding, so ON partnering with Tiger Woods. I'm not seeing any confirmation on that. I will say as of Monday, On Holding company denying the partnership with Tiger Woods, quote, I hope Tiger finds a great, or we hope Tiger finds a great new partner. It's not going to be us. So this could be a buy the rumor kind of event, because I know as of Monday they have denied any involvement, but he did part ways with Nike. They had a tearful breakup. I don't know if it was tearful, but yeah, no, Tiger Woods and Nike no longer having a partnership as of Monday. No confirmation with regards to ON though, but I mean, this is a good look on the stock, I have to say. Like, we're gonna try another time to draw trend lines, because, you know, oh, there we go, that's not bad. But yeah, we're really seeing these higher highs, higher lows here on holdings. There's no easy way to say on holdings, but I think this is an interesting look. I think let's kind of see, you know, if we kind of go back to the lows of this trend line, I might get involved in this name because volume is not negligible, to use a Sharifism. We're above 2 mil in volume, or we're almost at 2 mil in volume here. Just got a nice spike to the upside. Chelsea Ashley asking me what's my go-to time frame. I like the 5-minute, but I like looking at wider levels sometimes on the daily chart. Especially if it's a stock I don't trade. Oh, RIP my chart. Give me a moment. But yeah, so I feel like especially if it's a stock I don't trade as much, I really like looking at the daily to kind of get a sense of, I mean, I have Boeing up right now, so I guess let's just pull up the Boeing daily, because that's kind of what popped up here. Yeah, so I mean, I think Boeing's also a really interesting example of finding levels on a daily chart. So we had this this kind of double top area, this at 238, swooping kind of down from there, making a really nice recovery. Had a November to remember, shout out to Sharif, making this nice trend move upside from about 170 to about 260, 177 to about 265. Then we kind of chopped and turned here and then fell a bit lower. So this kind of gives me a sense of I guess, levels on the daily. And now I think Boeing's actually coming to an interesting level on the daily. Just because I have it up, may as well analyze it. I like that we're kind of near that area where we had the double top. So Boeing around 230 could be interesting for it intraday. So I think that's, I guess, an example of how I like to use my chart timeframes. I hope that answers your question, Chelsea Ashley. But my go-to for like trading on is the 5-minute. Also, Boeing actually still not looking bad, I have to say. Looks like it's trying to get second wind here, get its wings back together, see what we can do. I might get involved in this to this 230.80. But like I said, 230 could be an area of resistance, so I'm going to be a skosh cautious, at least on the daily. But I do not dislike this look. Also, Sean's saying NVIDIA, let's go. So let's go, NVIDIA. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very strong to the upside. We're coming into that 16.9 test once again as of right now on the NQ. So this is kind of what we're looking for, what we're waiting for there. 16.9. Let's see what we do in and around this 16.9 here. I'm going to try to stay as nimble as possible here on the short as the market kind of tests in and around this 16.9. Things can get a little interesting here, but yeah, we're kind of building up. We have been kind of building up into some of these levels here. There goes a quick pop on the ES as well, making some fresh highs on the day. 48.08s coming in on the ES there as well. So yeah, clearly the longs are really paying today, and I am not necessarily on the right side of the move here. And here we go, Amazon trying to push towards some new highs there. Let's see how far we can get. 16.9 still coming in as of right now on the NQs here. I see NVIDIA also pushing, raging to the highs as well. 545. Sean just took $3 off NVIDIA. Wow, that is absolutely crazy there. Yep, solid trade there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm really getting short here. Well, I think I know why, but yeah, I might be a little too early, and definitely might be totally wrong as well. But I'm gonna stay a little patient, as patient as I can be, I guess, for this kind of move. I am getting in on the front side of the move. The back side has not really shown itself. But yeah, shout out to Sean. Definitely the long is the way to go today, in such a strong market, pushing up towards some of these highs there. And making fresh highs as well on a lot of new names. We were talking about Visa and Softy kind of breaking out. Visa is breaking out, or it tried for some all-time highs today, pulled right back in. But again, it's finally broken that threshold. We've printed some of those prices. These are the new all-time highs on Visa, 265.5, 265.45-ish, and we're consolidating as of right now. So going forward in the next couple of days, maybe in the next couple of weeks as well, it'll be interesting to see what Visa does in and around some of those prices there. And yeah, let's take a look at that. A quick wick of that 16.9. Let's see how much time is left for this 15-minute candle to print. We got about 3 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to print. Let's see how this 15-minute and this 16.9 test comes into fruition here as NVIDIA tests that 545 here, and another little bit of a wick of those previous highs on the ES as well. Only about 3 minutes left. I'm patiently waiting to see what we do in and around some of these levels. Again, I'm looking for a pullback into VWAP here on Amazon as well. We've been having some healthy moves, and I was like, all right, well, within the trend, within the range of the trend itself, we're in the upper end of that range of a decent, healthy trend. So I don't necessarily want to be buying those tops, but I think it's a decent area to sell as well. So that's kind of what I did. A little too early. Let's see if it comes. Let's see if it works out as well. This could just continue to blast off into those 55s, or we could come back in and pull into that 153 as well. I have no idea, but yeah, let's just be patient and see what the market gives us today.
Yeah. I think patience is definitely key here. Also, thank you, Neil, in the chat here, pulling up the 10-year note auction, which is coming today at 1 o'clock. Got this up here on investing.com, so I'll keep an eye on that as we approach 1 o'clock. Also pulled up new up for John Del Senio because, yeah, I think I'll read out exactly what you said here. NU, thoughts on NU, big blast or big pullback? It's at a key level here, it's been blasting. Yeah, so I mean, I pulled up the wider time frame because this is certainly, I agree with you on the key level. This 9 area, that's where we kind of had like a bit of a fall. It's been a while since we've been up here. First, we were kind of this other consolidation area, this 719, I think breaking above that was interesting. We saw a little bit support here, then we fell from that area. Then it kind of became little bit of support as well. Then we pushed back right up above. So I think this is certainly an interesting area for us to break above here. Let me zoom in a little bit to get a more recent sense. Yeah, I think in a more recent time frame, I think this double bottom of the 680, or I guess triple bottom of the 680 is kind of interesting. 1, 2, 3. Then we have this consolidation over 820. I would say if we pull back, I would watch for this 820 area, or I guess 8 to 820, because look how long we held that for. We held this more or less from October. Oh my God, we held this more or less for like 2 months, like a month and a half. So I would absolutely keep an eye on this 820 area for NU, should we have a pullback. But yeah, and I think also then too, this 8 area is sort of where we saw a little bit of resistance earlier too, right? More or less. So I think resistance becoming support. Could it become resistance again? Will it fall back in support? We'll have to see, but I think this 8 area is really key. After that, this triple bottom at 680 is of interest to me. So that's my look on NU. I hope that helps to some degree. I think it could blast, but I think really what we do at 8, if we get back to 8 again, is going to be key for me. Also, I do have to mention James Dell saying in the chat, and it keeps running. Yeah, I mean, very much so. We are, shout out to the black-eyed peas. This whole market has been doing that, especially NVIDIA. Although, as I look at NVIDIA, I'm getting intrigued again, because we're kind of back with the area where I had the teeny tiny baby short earlier. And I say teeny tiny baby short because I took very small share size and it was not in there very long. Also, oh my God, I clearly trade this name way too much. Let's look at the intraday. But yeah, so let me zoom in just a skosh so we get a better set. There we go. So I like that we're kind of coming back into this to 543, 543.50 area. I think this is going to be kind of interest if we kind of reject off that again. But like, yeah, this, and then we get another, someone earlier was mentioning this double top. I don't remember who it was. Might have been the Borg man in the chat mentioning this double top at 544. We got it again. So this 544 might actually be kind of an area of interest for NVIDIA here on the kind of longer term intraday. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this. But yeah, this is a very interesting look. I'm going to pull up Mara for the Mara people here, because Mara has been running a marathon indeed as of late today. I mean, look at this. We kind of consolidated around the 2150, 2510, 2540. Took me a while to realize what I was saying wrong there. Kind of jumping around here. Then we kind of flew to the upside, kind of little baby stops around the way, continuing to push higher. Not at all bad look for Mara off this ETM. Hopes. I think this is a really interesting look. Also, Nick W wants to talk to you about SoFi. Asking, because I know you were talking about SoFi earlier too, saying, I think SoFi is going to follow a lot of other stocks to VWAP on the 15-minute. Could you ask Obi about it? So,
yeah, let's take a quick look at SoFi as well here. Yeah, so kind of a muted action here, going a little sideways, right? I think Neil kind of reminding us as well, a side note, that the 10-year bond auction is coming out in about less than 15 minutes here. So let's see what we do in and around some of those, in and around a potential market catalyst, right? But SoFi here on the 15s, yeah, kind of distinct, pushes up, but gets a little muted and in a very tight range here as well, indecisive. But what's the last thing we kind of did pushing up into this? We had some bullish strength, and then we can't really go anywhere too far off of that. So I'm curious to know, this range right here, these range edges will definitely be interesting here. But yeah, a little pullback to VWAP would be pretty decent here. But I don't know what it's going to be doing here, right? But it does seem like it might be poised, as we've already made a little bit of a high. We've made lower highs, but this consolidation holding in the upper quartile of this push up is a little concerning for the short side. But I think, again, whether you're trying to long or short, I think it's giving some defined edges here to work with, and I think that's what makes this kind of a decent look in my opinion here, as it's giving you some defined risk to play off of, whichever way you really want to take it.
Yeah, no, thank you for going over that one. Much appreciated. Also, the Amazon short still cooking?
It's not looking too hot right now. We pushed back through that 16.9, so I will have to get out of this pretty soon here. But like I said, with about 12 minutes with the bond auction coming in, it'll definitely be some interesting price action indeed. And yeah, this is it's like an area I'm willing to give this some room to kind of work on the day here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The bond auction should be interesting. I don't necessarily want to hold it all into the news there, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'm playing off of technicals, I guess. But SoFi coming right back in, so we are testing the lower end of that range. So it is interesting that you did point this out. So I will keep it on watch for now. Let's see what this consolidation kind of does. On the 15-minute, quite tight on SoFi, almost as if it's waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, that sounds very ominous. I like that. It's waiting. Yeah, so I think that's definitely an interesting look there on SoFi with a flurry of analyst opinions coming in today. I think there were at least 4 that I had on the watch list. Deutsche Bank among them. Yeah, a couple more, but definitely an interesting, very mixed opinions. There were some with higher price catalysts, some different, or sorry, price targets. Yeah, some with lower. It was a very mixed bag there over here. Microsoft, kind of, I just pulled this up because I like these higher highs we're seeing. We're kind of topic hearing around this 382. I could be intrigued by this. Also, people mentioning Meta making highs of days, so let's pull up Meta. I tried to get involved in this earlier. I just could not. This is too much of a monster. But I do like that we have kind of this continuous like scooped rounded bottom and then a swoop to the upside. It's been a very predictable pattern as of late. And this, you know, we had a little bit of this kind of consolidation here. This breakout of consolidation could be key indeed. So I think this is kind of an interesting look here on Meta. A few rounds of the AMC saying Mara would be a good one to watch on the DOM. So yeah, I mean, I'll look at that. Let's look at the book here on Mara here. We've got the order book. Yeah, I mean, the thing that this spread is really tight, which I think is interesting, right? Because I think when you have a tighter spread, at least from my experience, which is admittedly a bit more limited, usually there's a bit more liquidity, there's more, you know, tighter price action. Volume is certainly not an issue with Mara, 47.5 million. So I think this is kind of an interesting look here as well. And you can kind of give you a sense of all the prices people are looking to buy and sell at kind of down the line here, give you a sense of order size. It's certainly a lot of large kind of orders waiting to be filled here on the buy side. So I think, yeah, definitely an interesting look. Something I'm trying to get better at fully analyzing, but I think certainly you can see that the speed at which this is moving, the tightness of the spread, I think you can see a lot of interest here with the depth of market. I would not call this a shallow market on Mara at all. In fact, I would probably say whatever the exact opposite is. This is a nice, intense market there. As I'm in this SEC growth saying another big push for Mara. Yeah, I mean, I would concur. Like, look at this. We have these little tiny moments of breathing, and then it just swoops back to the upside. I would like to get involved in this, but I think it really requires a lot of watching the chart and kind of the price action in the book to kind of be involved here, to see on this, because I don't have like a huge. This is not a stock I'm really like. I trade much. I think I shorted it like once last week. But I think this is a really interesting look here. Also, Nicole Harris, thank you so much for this $2 super chat. Bitcoin ETFs are pending listing, limit orders. So yeah, I think that, wow, this is,
wow.
Yeah, no SEC Twitter about it, guys. This is certainly an interesting look. Lolo saying, come on ETF. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting look here. And then on regards to Meta, John saying Meta analyst raised price target to 470. Yeah, it was Mizuho this morning, and this is actually the highest price target for Meta on the street. So 470 for Meta, not a bad look at all. Darwin also saying earlier, thank you Darwin for this, I see HODL and ARCB in my Fidelity account, BTC ETFs, I said it earlier. Thank you, again, I appreciate that. Nicole Harris also mentioning ARCB. So yeah, I mean, I think it's something I would be very interested in maybe day trading a skosh of, but I think the volatility, given how volatile Bitcoin is, I think it could be a very interesting thing to try. We're gonna have to wait and see how that occurs. Also, I'm still eyeing Lily, because we're getting close to a milli on Lily. Like I said, I don't get involved in this unless we break that million share area, just because I get a little bit nervous. Again, we're talking about like liquidity, right, and depth of market. So if there's not too much shaking here, I don't really want to get involved. However, I do like this this kind of 628 to 630 area that we're holding really well. I find, obviously, like, you can't say a stock will necessarily do the same thing every day, but I find that Lilly tends to, I guess, respect ranges really well. So I'm very interested in what's happening here. I might take this short at 630, then go back and forth to 630, 628 area. I'm gonna have to wait and see in that, but first it needs to hit 1 million. But we are getting darn close.
Yeah, kind of coming into that bond auction, we were getting some interesting action here. I did get out of the short, and as soon as I get out, we kind of rip right back down. 154 was definitely interesting. We had like 400 lots at the level, and then 5 pennies above the 154, there was 1.2K lots. And I was like, and I kind of saw that after I got out, and I was like, well, I wish I could have held that a little bit longer just to see what we do with that 154. But that might not be the best way to kind of play that here. Kind of reassessing. Again, I was willing to give it a few pennies off of the level there. Could have stopped out in the 90s. It would have been a little bit better, or earlier in the lower 90s there. But I gave it to the mid to higher 90s that I just punched out. But as soon as we did pop up into that 154, that size kind of came in and presented itself as well. So I guess there is some supply that's sitting on top of the 154. I have no idea whether or not we're going to take it out, but as we approach so close to that bond auction, in only about 5 minutes roughly, it'll definitely be interesting what we do in and around this 16.9 level. Whether or not it'll have an impact or not, I'll be curious, and I'll be waiting to find out. But yeah, I definitely want to get out of that position right before a potential market catalyst comes in, right? We could just rip to the upside, drop back down, and I think the last one right here was on December 11th, where the 10-year note auction came out a little bit lower than the previous note auction. So let's see if we get anything lower than the 4.296 that we had last time. And I'm just going to quickly check the economic calendar here on TradingView as well to see if that has the stat kind of lined up for us. Yes, it does, right here. And yeah, there's a nice little timer on it as well. So the prior was 4.269, and we're going to find out what the actual is at 1 p.m. in about 4 minutes. So I think we're all kind of anticipating, or not really anticipating, or waiting for that number to kind of come out and see what the market does. 16.9 blasting off. ES also making some fresh highs as well, or attempting to make some fresh highs over this 48.08 as of right now. As Amazon very, very strong on the day here. I was definitely kind of a little wrong on looking for a pullback down into VWAP off of this area where we did see some selling multiple times over and over again. But the fact that we did make higher lows, I knew I was working against that, keeping that in mind as well. So took a shot, tried it, didn't work. That's perfectly fine. Move on, next trade. What is the next trade? That's kind of what I'm asking myself as well. Like I said, I didn't really follow the plans that I did have too effectively. So I am just patiently waiting on the sidelines to see if anything else kind of comes up, and throwing money away at some of the unplanned trades as well, just based off of what I'm seeing. But we'll see what happens, as only about 3 minutes, Adara, for this number to come out. It'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah, the number is going to be interesting. I'm trying to get into this Lilly short. I'm a little scared about being in this trade. If we get a scary auction number. But the thing is, Lilly, I might not even get filled in this anyway. You know what I mean? I like the look of this. Like, look how well we've been respecting these, this kind of just below VWAP, dipping below. We're almost at 1 million volume, so I feel semi-confident getting involved in this trade. We're gonna have to see how it goes. But yeah, my plan is I'm just gonna want to range this. This range to me has been very clear. This 628, 630, going short 630, then taking it to 628, going long 628. I mean, like I said, I really enjoy range scalping. That's where I feel the most confident, and kind of for whatever reason that's, I don't know, this type of trading I feel the best at. You know, Sharif and I have had this conversation too, where you have to kind of trade close to your personality. Sometimes it's where you have the most success. And I know, you know, my personality is a little bit scalpier. So I'm a little bit, you know, quick on, you know, I like to be a little kind of quick in and out. I like seeing patterns, and that's why I like range scalping, I would say. Also, Zion Lala asking a question. I think it's for you. At OB, I have a question: how you determine your share sizes, and then tagging me. I mean, we can both answer, I guess. Yeah, I think for me, I usually don't like to use many shares regardless. Like, I'll always use kind of a smaller share size, and it really depends A, on my comfort level in the trade, and then B, like how much do I want to risk, and is it something I want to piece out? So this Eli Lilly trade, I took like around the not a ton, but around the larger size I'm comfortable with, which is still not very many shares, because this one I might piece out around the 629, because we see a little bit of consolidation. 629 might take some out at 629, take the bulk out at the 628 here, right? Same with NVIDIA, but with NVIDIA, to kind of give an example of how I determine my share sizes more or less, I think with NVIDIA, sorry, my chart, I took the smallest amount of shares I ever take here, because I liked the look of it, but I wanted to make sure, just in case it didn't go perfectly right, I wanted to give myself a bit of a buffer. But how do you plan your trades?
Yeah, so in terms of sizing, I think it's pretty straightforward. Again, something I'm trying to work on as well. But kind of three simple things. Again, shout out to Brankles, kind of reinforcing this concept of in conversations with me over the past couple weeks as well. Kind of just a simple, like, okay, so you know, what is the price that I like? If I like it, I can give this example right here, right? So if I like this price right here at 153.80s, right? And I want to risk up to 154. That's about a 20 penny risk, give or take. And based off of those 20 pennies, I see how much I have daily, how much of my daily allotted risk I want to give it. And then I just divide that by the risk limit here. So I'll show you guys a quick calculation as well, quickly. So here you go. Okay, so for example, say I want to give it up to 154. I'm risking 20 pennies, and say I like it so much that I want to give it about half of the shutdown there. So let's see. So giving about so half of the shutdown, that's about $25 for me. So we'll do 25 divided by 20 cents, and that's the share size that I would probably want to take, give or take 125. So that's kind of an example of what how I kind of do the risk. But here's a 10-year bond auction coming out right now, and yeah, let's see if we get any sort of action on the market. We did get a little bit of a pullback there, but nothing too crazy as of right now. 154. That size keeps coming up and showing up here. I did put on a size filter here, so if and when we get to those prices there, you'll definitely see that size kind of pop up. Like I said, 400 lots at the 154, and then 1,200 lots sitting at 154.05. So that's kind of interesting as well on Amazon right now. It's building up into that 154. So let's see what that'll bring for us today. And here we go, ramping up into the 90s. So let's see if that size kind of pops up again, and we can see that participant or participants kind of with posted orders at that level. But we are pulling back quite aggressively as of right now on NVIDIA and NQ as well, quite aggressively with respect to how we've been bidding for the past half hour. Right, and we're not crashing all the way down to the lows. We're not doing like a 50% retracement, anything like that. There's your 400 lots right there. I've highlighted on Amazon, and there is the 1200 right there. A little bit of a spoofy happening on the 12 right there, 1206 lots at 154.05 as the market kind of builds back up, and we're wicking that flush that we had back down into that 16.9. So here it comes. Here's the level. What will we do with that 154? I am definitely wrong for having such a strong short bias on a strong day when the ticker is showing me so much strength. But It is what it is. Let's see what we do in and around this this level here. So there you go. You got that stack coming in at that 154, 154.05s. That guy is still there with the 1200 lots. All the size at that 154 got taken. This 154.05 kind of acting as a little bit of an interesting level here as of right now. Decent amount of supply that's visible sitting at that 154.05. Let's see if we can take it out right here. You know what? While that comes in, let me throw this in here so we can actually see that size print, that size filter we were talking about yesterday, kind of coming in handy in these situations where you want to catch the larger sizes print and go through. Let's see if we can even print those 154.05. That is a decent chunk of change on the book at 154 in my opinion, but what do I know? Let's see what we do with these prices.
Yeah, decent. I like that decent chunk of change. That's why I was kind of chuckling there. I enjoy that.
Think about the notional value of that order right there, 154.05. You know what? I'll go through it. So we'll do the calculation. We'll find out specifically the dollar value of that. So,
math time. I love it.
So 1,200 lots. So that's 100 each. So that's about $18.5 million worth of an order that's sitting right there at that 154.05. It's pretty interesting. I think so. So let's see if it gets filled. Let's see if it gets filled. We're printing 04s. We're coming back into it. Some size showing up in front of it. Look at that 40 stack right there, or 40 lots right there. And we're slowly decrementing those guys as well at the 04s. 30 lots now. This is a bit of a repetition. Both of these orders are kind of the same. So there's only 30 lots that are sitting there as of right now. And boom, right there. So let's go back and take a look at that size that got through right there. Look at that, boom. 1.2, so that 1,200 lots got broken and we're blasting to the upside. All went through in a single order on a T-gate. Very nice, very, very nice. And we're blasting to the upside as well as of right now. I'm peacing off because I had a short bias and the short is definitely not in play today. Very, very strong market through some of these levels. Again, we saw the VWAP hold, we saw the consolidations. Again, I did not respect any of that information, so that's on me today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard market in which to trade. I mean, I'm also in a short right now off Lily because these levels are so clear. Looks like we're getting a bit of a pop. I'm gonna wait to like kind of see what we do above VWAP here, because we kind of had a nice drop off that 631 area. So I'm gonna kind of see what we do around this area. We didn't have a giant pump here, but enough to make me a skosh nervous, especially because we did have a nice drop into 629.50 when I initially entered. So I was kind of like, whoo. But looks like we might not be respecting that. We're going to have to wait and see here. CompXRX saying you got this, Obi. So thank you, CompXRX, for the support there. You do have this, Obi. You got this. But yeah, the bond auction, still not seeing it. I got
the number.
Oh, you have the number?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So right here, the actual it came out as lower. So I guess it's lower. The last time was lower than previous, and then today we're getting lower than previous as well, coming in at 4.024% for the 10-year note auction there. A little bit less than last time. Last time we got 4.296, so almost 4.3, and about a point, almost a 0.3 decrease there on that number. So lower than previous. So we're catching a little bit of a bid apparently off of that. That's how the market is reacting to that bond number as of right now. You can see some of that expanding volume kind of coming in as well through some of those prices when that auction, with that auction coming in.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think, yeah, some people mentioning in the chat as well, the bond number or the auction numbers. Thank you, everybody, for putting those in there. And yeah, thank you, Obi, for sharing that one as well. Just watching Lily. Lily's just kind of floating along here. I'm still kind of within my comfort zone, so I'm not going to do anything here. I'm trying to get more confident in my trades if I see things I like. And yeah, right now we're kind of dropping closer to there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna let her do her thing. 21 as of right now. Also, side note, the 21 Savage movie actually looks really interesting.
There's a movie?
Yeah, there's a trailer for it, and I've watched it an embarrassing number of times, and I think that's gonna be it's gonna be a pretty good look. But it just you know what?
It's like a documentary, or like is it about?
I think it's a movie starring Donald Glover.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting times. But yeah, no, just shout out to that. Also, Chelsea Ashley saying thanks to Sean for that Amazon sticky note. Big love to this whole team. Thank you so much for being here, Chelsea Ashley. Much appreciated always. And yeah, so I think I was gonna look at something for someone in the chat. It was Peloton, yes, EV for SEC or SEC. Thoughts on Piton? Yeah, I can look at Piton. Sorry, wrong exchange there on the NASDAQ. We're cycling a little bit to the upside here today on Piton. This area, I just want to point out this area too briefly. Let me try to draw a trend line. Yeah, here we go. So look at this kind of what we do around the 620. We chop and churn around it. Then we have this big swoop down below. Sort of a double bottom here, at least in the 5-minute, off this 588 on the candles, and then swoop back up to the upside a little bit, following back at the 620. This 620 is a good example of resistance becoming support. I think it's a very interesting look. So I kind of want to see what happens here. I think, yeah, very interesting take here. I think that this 620, though, seems to be a pretty key area on Piton intraday EV. Let me look at the daily chart as well, because I like looking at levels here. Piton has a really interesting daily chart. Okay, this is, we certainly are not at the highest we've been. I can say that. Yeah, we were kind of seeing some upward momentum earlier, I guess, off the pandemic. This one was really popular. Or more popular, certainly. We've kind of fallen off since that point. Oh my God, the more I zoom out, the more horrifying it gets here with Piton. Kind of a double bottom on this 730 area, then we kind of sink below it. Now we're kind of topping and turning. Seeing a little bit of an upward trajectory, though, upward momentum after that second double bottom around that 450 area. First, October 26, 2023. Second, on November 13th, 2023, upward trend. Yet another sort of pseudo double bottom here at 544. Yeah, lots of trends going on in Peloton, but I think certainly, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit in the daily chart to give a better sense at more local levels. I think this breaking above this 663 decidedly on a closing level would be of interest, because look how much of a hard time we're having decisively breaking above that. That would be my take on Peloton. I hope that is of some help. Freddie the Friendly Guy chiming in here. Piton was way above 100 way back then. Carter Worth named it as a pick yesterday. Did not know. Thank you for chiming in with that. Also, the Piper asking, are you making paper profit most days now? It's still a bit of a mix. I'm trying to get more consistent, but thank you for checking in there. Yeah, I think the consistency is the hardest part, because you'll have a really good day and then things will get a little herky-jerky. So I think it's, or you know what I mean? I think it's kind of trying to find a strategy that works. I find when I'm just kind of sticking to my scalping, that's when I'm doing the best, so I'm trying to be more consistent at that.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty decent there. Consistency, definitely one of the top priorities as a trader, right? So it's always a tough thing to accomplish, but it is a work in progress, right? And I'm glad that you're realizing that what some of your strengths are, what some of your weaknesses are, and really delving into that, and not really straying too far from your play style, right?
Thank you.
So yeah. I think again I've seen some of your scalps as well, pretty decent. Where do you find that like you're taking the biggest losses, I guess?
Okay, thank you for asking. I think that's a good point. I think it's when I try to when I get like a little FOMO'd. So I think that some of that NVIDIA moves on Monday when I tried to, or I think maybe like just kind of not really thinking through my trend, not planning very well, right? So NVIDIA, trying to short NVIDIA on Monday was a choice, for example, right? That was a choice that I made, not once, but twice. And it did stick to my plan the whole time. But I think the issue was, and we talked about this, sometimes your plan's just not, it's not that strong to begin with. So it's good to stick to whatever plan you have, but it's also another to make sure you're kind of constantly evolving the quality of your plans. So I think that's one thing I'm trying to kind of keep in mind with regards to my trading. But yeah, I think it's definitely when I'm like that kind of the farthest from my style. So I'm that's why I like finding stuff that's trading within range. I think when we have kind of these rangier days on certain stocks, that's when I find I'm a little bit more successful. Okay. But yeah, I would say the biggest losses are usually when I'm trying to play off momentum, which is not my style, or when I'm just not like planning it very well, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really like I too personally like scalping on range days. I think, again, ranges get defined and you can kind of observe like, okay, well, here's where the buyers are, here's where the sellers are. And clearly the sellers at 69 are showing up as we wick the highs and then pulling right back in. Shorting on the front side, what am I doing? This is a kind of a little bit of a significant selling coming in, both on the ES and the NQ. So we wick those highs, and then the sell comes in right now. Let's see where we go from here. We could still hold this level, right? So I'm just curious to know what we do. Like I said, with that bond auction kind of coming in, and whether or not we have a distinct move after that event kind of happens. And it seems like as of right now, we kind of push to the highs and then rip right back down. So I do want to take a quick check on the pulse there across the board. But SoFi attempting to break that consolidation low we were talking about earlier, as well as I just have it pulled up on here. So I'm curious to know what Amazon will do with this 154. And what the market itself will do after this strong kind of selling candle that's, attempting to print. Got about a minute left on that 15-minute candle to finish printing, and we have just made pretty nasty top wick on the chart there. But we're making just as big of a lower wick as well. So I have no idea. But let's take a quick check across the board and see what our friends in the Mag 7 are up to today. So I'm just going to blow that up right there so we can get a bigger picture on what things may be happening here. So Apple Apple comes up into VWAP, rejecting VWAP. So Apple relatively weak compared to the market today, and yeah, it's pretty much sideways in and around that 185. That is not the right ticker there. We don't trade Forex here. But here, let me just go to the next one. Softy. Yeah, the watch list back at my desk, I can just press up or down and it just goes to the next one on the Mag 7. So I just have them laid out in the order of weighting with respect to how the constituents are weighted. So we'll take a quick look. Softy holding above VWAP, very strong on the day as well. Amazon, kind of, this is what I was kind of looking for here, clearly getting in too early as the top of that channel range, whatever you want to call it, is all the way up at 154 and change, and I'm getting short here underneath 154s, right? So I was looking for a pullback into the lower end. Doesn't really work out too well, but we're kind of extending this leg back up towards the upper end of that range as well. And the Goog, not the Goog, the Goog L, pushing back up towards highs as well, 142, 48 high a day, and we're pretty much about to knock on the door of that high on Goog L. NVIDIA still holding that VWAP, still chopping and churning in and around previous day's high. Now, something I do want to note here, and you guys can chime in the chat as well. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on this are. But we've been strong. We've broken out, right? And this is a little bit of a higher time frame breakout through the 500, right? And we're kind of consolidating after some of this drive. So I think a consolidation is can be quite healthy and kind of like a bus stop along the way if we are going to continue past this 550 as well, right? We're consolidating underneath the 5.5, the 5.5 or 550, whatever you want to call it, here on the NVIDIA. So very strong push and a bit of consolidation day. We're having sideways day. Again, to be noted, in and around some of previous days' highs. So still kind of strong overall on the name there, NVIDIA. What's the next one? Meta and a Tesla. We'll take a quick look. Meta super strong on the day today. Let's see, Mizuho calling in a buy there on Meta, and I guess that's kind of fueled this move apparently. Let's see, CEO takes up the most delicious product of his life. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, Mizuho upgrade and Meta catching quite a strong bid here on the day. Now, I don't really look at Meta too often, so let's take a quick look left and see what it's up to. Oh boy, are those all-time highs? Those are all-time highs right there. Meta pushing up into all-time highs. Yeah. 385 is all-time highs. It's not pushing right now, but
That's a good look.
it's right there. And yeah, talk about a V-shaped recovery after this strong Kwadunk. Definitely discounted was the name, Meta at 100 and right back up to 400. So 4x in about the span of, is this the beginning of 2020? Let's take a quick look at where that low was. And let's take a quick time measurement as well. So in about 434 days, we came right back up to the top. And how long did it take for us to flush off of these prices? We'll just take it off the high there. So we flushed all the way down in about 406 days. So a little bit of a symmetrical move happening on a very large time frame there on Meta platform. So interesting price action indeed with the symmetry on a larger time frame on the Meta. So let's go on to the next name right here. Got a couple names left. We can't go forward without talking about Tesla, of course. So Tesla, sideways consolidation, chop, kind of holding previous day's range as well. Pretty much the same as same place as it was where we looked at it earlier in the day on Meta. And I do want to take a quick look at Broadcom, and we'll take a look at the UNH and XOM as well, just to see how those guys are doing as well. So XOM, I was looking at it for that 100 last night. Didn't really have it in the plan. I was like, okay, well, we might just chop and churn, but wow, I'm looking at it for the first time today, right now, and that 100, oh boy, was that a strong sell-off off the open, and continuation, 98s coming in on Exxon Mobil. So I guess oil's a little bit of a sell-off today. I'm just making that assumption. Let's actually check what it's doing. And yeah, a little bit of a pullback, I guess, some selling that's been going on today. And XOM reflecting some of that sentiment as well. And then let's take a quick look at our healthcare leader as well, sideways, pretty much nothing too crazy. Nice little opening action that UNH usually tends to have, and goes pretty much choppy for the rest of the day, and we did more of the same today. And yeah, let's take a quick look at the bigger picture as well. I remember this name when we were trading in and around closer to that 500 mark as well. Yeah, it was I think the all-time highs are yeah, right there, 558. So we're hitting the upper end of that consolidation range that we've been doing since 2022, right? So this huge consolidation, 450s all the way up to 550. So 100-point consolidation here on UNH, and we're in the upper end of that said consolidation there. So that was a quick check on some of the leaders in the market there. Let me know if some other names that I've missed are on your lists to take a look at when you're checking how the market's doing and how the market's feeling, I guess, across the board. And we can take a quick look at that as well. And I'm seeing Neil in the chat saying Uber broke 62. Wow, Uber's still hanging around that 61, 64 range.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting there. Okay, so we did break below that 61, and then now we're bidding right back up through it. So that's definitely an interesting.
Neil said
move,
check
very
daily,
strong.
so I think daily is.
Sorry?
Neil said check daily.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
sorry, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, we just came off the daily right there, so let me just put it back. Yeah, wow. So 58s get bought up, a little bit of a gap as well, and that low acted as support for about 3 or 4 days before we accelerated back up. Today being one of those days here, so that maybe we're poised to kind of push into that 64 all-time highs on Uber. Let's see what'll come with that. But very strong on the day. Definitely some market tailwind happening as well. 61 came in today, and that 62 coming in as well. I wonder if I got that alert, because I'm pretty sure I had that alert at. I'm pretty sure I had that alert at that 61. And I'll have to go check for it back at my desk. It's not showing up on my phone as of right now, but we're catching a little bit of a continuation back down to potentially here off of that strong wick to the upside that the NQ has shown us. Let's see if we start printing some consecutive red candles here. I was definitely a little too early for that short.
Yeah, no, it's been quite the market. And thank you for doing that quick triage, that quick pulse check on the market there. Much appreciated as always. I like that you have like a kind of a nice like mix of stocks you look at. Like you look at the UNH, you look at the oil, you look at AVGO. Like I think it gives like a nice good sense of what the overall market's doing.
They're just they're like the heavier weighted stocks, right?
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
Let me just yeah, slick charts is the one. Okay, so right here. When you go into to look at some of the constituents, so we can look at the constituent NASDAQ 100. Again, I'm just getting those names off of how they're rated. This is the weighting of the NASDAQ 100. So you got Apple, Amazon, Apple, Softy, Amazon, and then Broadcom is number 4, right? So not a lot of people look at Broadcom from my observations, again, as limited as they are, but AVGO is the number 4th right here, actually surpassing NVIDIA as well a little bit, even though NVIDIA has been running to the upside. But it goes Broadcom, NVIDIA. Now, as the prices change, this is market cap weighted. As the prices change around, this weighting is going to jump around. You can see how relatively close both Broadcom and NVIDIA are. Meta's up there as well. Tesla, Google, both of them together give it a weighting of 5, so it's actually the 3rd most weighted entity if you count both the Class A and the Class C shares there. And then you got Costco, Adobe, AMD, Pepsi, Netflix, Intel. So you got all those guys as well. But yeah, some of the top names on the NQ. And then oh, I don't want to see that.
The old man.
Yeah. All right, so the S&P 500, similar breakdown for the top constituent. You got Softy, Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, but then here you got your Meta, and you got your Berkshire, you got your Tesla, you got your Eli Lilly, you got your JPMs and your UNH as well. Yeah, I guess one that I did miss was JPM. I do like to keep an eye out on that guy as well, and a little bit muted. That 172 I found interesting over the past couple of days, and it seems like we've been selling off of that area, give or take a couple points there on JPM. But the bank bid has been quite aggressive over the past couple of months, I think. Oh, do not want to do that. Yeah,
trend
so
lines.
yeah, exactly. That trend line that I drew in, held quite well. I think I might have drawn it in and around some of these times here, the beginning or the middle of December here, kind of a low post earnings, and it seems like we've been holding it quite well. Let me just extend this line a little bit as well. Let me just go here. Where is the extend line? Right. Okay, cool. So let's see. So, interesting how we kind of reject off of strong flush. The first time we break the trend, sure, you have a couple of attempts here. One attempt push up, and then flush, fade. That's interesting on the JPM there. But yeah, trend lines not always the best indicator, but when it works, I guess it works. So very interesting look there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over all that. Also, the boring man saying AVGO was my best trade of 2023. Longed from 905 to 1070.
Nice.
That's all I have to say. I don't have
Nice.
words for that. That's fantastic. Congratulations to you. Also, I took out I got half the beak wet here in Eli Lilly. Initially, I was going to take profit part profit at 629. I noticed we were having some issues kind of decisively getting below there, but we were kind of jumping around 629.50, got half my profit out there. The plan was to get the rest out at 628, 629. I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be occurring. I might take everything out at that 629.50 should we hit that again, but I'm going to be patient. For now, though, I just want to go over the market depth lesson one last time. Just nice and quickly here, because I think, I appreciate everybody in the chat chiming in as well on this. Basically, depth of market is a measure of the supply and demand for liquid tradable assets, right? So it's basically based on the number of open buy and sell orders for any given asset. And the greater the quantity of those orders, the deeper or the more liquid the asset is considered to be. So it's also known as the order book, since it consists of a list of pending orders for a security or currency or asset or what have you. And the data in the book is used to determine which transactions can be processed. And this data is usually available for free or for a small fee from most online brokers. So how do we kind of understand depth of market? So basically, by measuring real-time supply and demand, market depth is used by traders to assess the likely direction of an asset's price. It's also used to gauge the number of shares of an asset that can be bought without causing its price to appreciate, right? So if a stock is extremely liquid, it has a large number of both buyers and sellers, and so a buyer can purchase a large block of shares without causing a substantial stock movement price. So you can make a purchase without a massive change happening here, right? But if a stock is not particularly liquid, it doesn't trade as constantly, and so purchasing a block of shares might noticeably impact the stock's price. And this is where we're kind of talking about dark pools yesterday. That's why some people might find dark pools helpful, because it can help make these larger blocks of shares and blocks of purchases without, doing otherwise. Without making a huge dent in the price, right? So depth of market is typically displayed as an electronic list of outstanding buy and sell orders organized by price level and updated in real time to reflect current activity. Most online brokers will offer some form of DOM or DOM display, which allows users to see a full list of buy or sell orders pending execution along with the size of the trade instead of just the best options available, right? And so how do we use DOM data for trading? So basically, depth of market data helps traders to see where the price of security may be heading in the near future as orders are filled, updated, or canceled. So a trader might use market depth data or depth of market data to understand the bid-ask spread for a stock along with its current volume. So I mean, here we've got like the bid-ask spread. Let me pull something that moves a little crazier. Okay, NVIDIA is not a NYSE stock, Adara. Come on, man. Let's look at NVIDIA, and I know I keep pulling up NVIDIA, but NVIDIA moves like crazy, and it's got quite a spread. I also have some thoughts on the chart, but I'm gonna get into those after. Like you see, we can see the spread in NVIDIA, we can see kind of the prices, where people are sitting at orders. Looks like at 12:30, there's an order to purchase NVIDIA at 5:26. So yeah, you can kind of see all of that here. And you can see the spread as well. So it gives you just lots of, little insight there on the market. I'm just pulling back my Lily again. But yeah, I mean, back to what we're talking about, right? So stocks with a strong depth of market, which is why I pulled up NVIDIA, do tend to be these more popular large cap names. So like Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla, the ones that Obi just went over as well, right? These larger kind of names within the market. And they usually have strong volumes and are quite liquid, which allows traders to place these large orders without significantly impacting market prices. But securities with poor depths of market, which a lot of these ones, that aren't considered like day trade stocks, right? Those tend to, be more obscure companies with smaller market capitalizations, and the prices of their stocks are likely to move if a single trader places a large buy or sell order. So it's more impacted by this kind of outsized buying or selling. Being able to view the depth of market information for a particular security in real time allows traders to profit from short-term price volatility. So, for example, when a company launches its IPO, traders can watch the DOM in real time, waiting for the opportunity to buy or sell shares when the price reaches the right level of demand. And like I said, some of those IPOs in September were crazy to watch with regards to what we were seeing on the book. So, I mean, watching that, my first IPO I witnessed, I didn't get involved in because this was very early in my time, but watching that ARM IPO move, that was really interesting. We saw, I think, that bid up right into 60 was really crazy to watch. I think this is a very interesting look here. But yeah, I think that's just kind of a really good example of watching the order book. Those things like IPOs, these really volatile stocks, the ones that do a lot of volume, can be an interesting look. Yeah. Thank you guys, everybody, for listening to our little chat there about depth of market.
Yeah, thanks, Adara. Again, like I said before, kind of brushing up on some of the knowledge and learning new things as well, along with you guys here right now live. As I don't really use depth of market, I'm not really too familiar with it, other than just the layout and what it kind of shows. But yeah, we can take a quick look. We've done this a couple times already, but we can take a quick look at what that layout kind of looks like. And how about this? We'll compare it to how the level 2 looks like as well. So I see some what's the difference and stuff. So again, I'll try to answer that to the best of my limited abilities here. But we'll start off with what the DOM kind of looks like here. Let me see if I can pull up the one on TradingView as well. Okay, so yeah, we can do a quick comparison here as well. So, oh, did not want to do that. Let me pull that one back up. Okay, and that is not the window I am looking for. Just give me 1 second here as I find myself and that TradingView window as well. Okay, boom, right there. All right, so here it is right there. So here it's only here it's oh, sorry. It's like my mic is like slipping into my shirt. So I've got to fix that, a little bit of a technical difficulty. All right, so let me just put that back on. But okay, so back to the DOM here. Thanks for the close-up. Thanks for the close-up. Right there, boom. Got it on. We're good to go. All right, so here's a little bit of a DOM here, not with the full data, as this is not really connected to any broker right now. This is just through the paper trading on TradingView here, but it gives us a decent example of how that current level 1 price can be moving around here. So I'm going to just push this over to the side here. Let's look at the level 2 as well, and then we'll have the description for the DOM on the right-hand side. So a little bit of a nice little DOM sandwich right there with the level 2 in the middle. But yeah, so let's do some quick comparisons. So just off of what I'm seeing here, the level 2, the book is kind of organized a little differently. Both the size and the prices sitting at that size is kind of separated, and you can see gates as well, right? Something you don't necessarily see right off the bat on the DOM is kind of the gates that that size is kind of posted at. But you do see the total size, and you can also see kind of a volume profile at those different prices as well. So you can kind of get a sentiment of buying or selling pressure that may be sitting in the book, right? So you can also see that here as well, but a little bit of a different kind of perspective here. So there's your ask volume on the right-hand side. There's your bid volume on the left-hand side of the DOM, and I guess it kind of also shows where your orders are saying. And I think one of the members in the chat was saying how they like this because they can kind of map out their orders in and around that DOM and really see where their buys and their sells are relative to other participants, right? Now that's something that does not happen on the level 2. Like as far as my knowledge goes, I don't think I'm going to be able to see where I'm posted. Now I'm sure there's a filter or something someone's come up with to kind of put in as like an indicator or filter on the level 2, but as of right now, I don't think this setup can really show us where that order is sitting, where my specific orders are sitting, given these prices right here as well. But yeah, and also the tape. Kind of, I guess you use the DOM along with the tape, and it's the DOM's a little bit more like the book as well. So we're not really going to talk too much about the tape, but the book is definitely a little bit distinctly different as well. But the price is static in the middle, right? So this price ladder in the middle. Again, giving you a nice perspective of the stack above and below the current price that's trading, right? So right here, you can see the level 1 right here, and then the level 1 right here on the level 2, and the level 1 on the traded prices on the DOM as well. So you can see right here how much is sitting on the bid, how much is sitting on the ask right here, and that's dynamically changing. 300 on the bid, 800 on the ask. So as of right now, in that specific moment, it's telling you that there's more sellers than buyers at that specific price in that given moment. So I think that's a decent look as well there for what the DOM can provide. So that's a quick run through of just the basic layout of the DOM and different parts of it and how they're potentially what information they display, right?
Thank you for going over that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I think it's a really good look, and I think having that visual there is helpful as well. Also, I had to pull this up because I saw, let me find where it was in the chat. Someone in all caps, like, what's going on with Unity? Oh, here we go. WTH just happened in Unity, says Tony. I agree. I mean, I pulled this up, and I was not really prepared for what to expect, but Unity is like literally forming like a reverse U over here. We had one of the most defined double tops I have seen in some time. These big swooping candles to the upside, hitting that 38.80, and then swooping back down with a vengeance, holding that 38.40 again, and then going back down, heading down over here below that 38. We kind of held 38 a little bit interestingly earlier today. It'd be interesting to see if we can kind of climb back into there, but we'll have to see what happens. 6 executives leading Unity, says Carlos Briones. Thank you so much for that. Let me pull up my lovely Benzinga and see what's going on. Shout out to Benzinga, as always. And yeah, so, oh yeah, workforce reduction was announced yesterday. But yeah, I think this is a really interesting look. Congrats to Tristan saying that they did well on Unity. Robert Walker saying that's the head and shoulders for a giraffe. Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, look, I mean, that's a pretty funny comment. And I honestly think that might have to be a new pattern, giraffe head and shoulders. Obi enjoying this one as well. And Sean saying he reloaded NVIDIA. So
nice.
Yeah, go that. Yeah, NVIDIA has still been holding really well.
Yeah, the 540 holding is, I think, we're holding yesterday's high, right? And sideways, it's pretty nice. Kind of a continuation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Dollar.
Look at VWAP. It went right down, touched it. That's where we got long.
Yeah, the VWAP hold for that continuation move been pretty strong there. Yeah, I gotta definitely pay more attention to some of these tickers here. Again, NVIDIA, I am paying attention to it. I was looking for a little bit of a pullback, but the fact that we're going a little sideways here does make it into a little bit more of a rangy type of action here. But yeah, that 540 holding quite well, and the market still kind of just chopping around this 16.9. We kind of dipped down, we popped back above, so we're just pretty much just churning this area here. It seems like no real distinct kind of direction off of this candle, but we're still in an uptrend. We've broken out of this these pre-market levels here as well, and we're consolidating and holding. We did attempt to sell off quite aggressively, and we bid right back up as well. And there goes NVIDIA kind of pushing up and kind of teleporting up as well. 544 potentially coming in. Hot Dog Club coming in. Oh, gotta dodge those.
Yeah, they're hitting Obi over here. I like that.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of opportunity in this market for sure. I got to do better following my plans. There could be a whole party happening. All I got to do is follow this plan. Nothing else.
I like that you have the sticky notes. So you're like, you're not going to go all the parties. You're just going to a select few number of parties.
I had an invitation to about 3 parties today, and I went to maybe 1.
Feeling a little bit introverted today.
I threw up all over the floor there. Partied a little too hard, but it happened.
Ooh, yeah.
It happened.
That's a good
Sometimes you party too hard. You're not really in the right mind state, so.
Yeah, no, I think that analogy works because it's like you have to be prepared for the party, right? Because not all parties are going to dress the same way, right? And by that I mean too that with regards to risk management, I'm going to actually work this analogy because I do think it applies to trading, and I really like that you said that. So the style you're going to trade everything is not necessarily going to be different. It's really going to depend on the vibe. And sometimes when you go to parties, when you go to social events, when you go out, you don't want to stay as long as you do at other events, right? So that's the same with trades. You don't want to overstay your welcome to trade. Sometimes you don't want to overstay your welcome at a party, and you have to really plan. Because if you go to too many parties, then you can, as Obi said, you can get a little sick, you can overdo yourself, right? So I think I really enjoyed, as much as I feel that was probably an impromptu analogy, I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you for bringing it up there. And I think it really kind of applies to trading.
I like the outfit analogy that you gave as well. That kind of mirrors how I take a look at like different tickers as like different arenas and different kind of like a battlefield and
different stories too. Yeah.
If you're not well equipped to kind of operate on that field, then you might not be at the best odds for winning the battle. Not really winning the battle, or really just like holding your own, right?
I like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we're making analogies over here, but yeah, I think hopefully they apply to trading, and I think sometimes too working in analogies helps me understand stuff a bit better. So I hope, because I think that really is like a good way, I think for me at least, looking at trading going forward.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah. And I hope other people agree as well. Also, I will talk about that Lilly trade, speaking of learning. So Eli Lilly, I got part profits, as I said, at that 629.50. Should have taken everything out there. I should have been a little bit more scalpier, or a little bit scalpier, or a little bit more scalpy. But someone was saying too in the chat, like, why would you go short if it's going a bit longer? I get what you mean. Like, I think in retrospect, and that's why I kind of started to get a bit nervous, I should have just taken everything out here, was because, we did have these slightly higher lows near the end, but initially when I got in was I liked this kind of range respect of the 628 to 630. I was going to take the short to 628 and then go back long to 630. Alas, that did not happen. I probably got the bulk of my position out, or I guess not, it was 50-50. Probably got the second half of my position out a bit too late. We didn't lose too much here, but learning, growing, and just trying to make sure to stick to the plan a bit better. Probably should have taken everything out at the 629.50 as per the scalpulating, right? Just kind of seeing what the tape and the chart have to offer, and I'm acting accordingly. Also, the boring man saying, would be helpful to know more about VWAP that you guys use to enter long or short trades. So I will say with regards to VWAP, and this is a thing I learned a lot from everybody here, but Sharif as well saying, like, VWAP is a good tool to always have an eye on, but it's not always going to interact with your trades, right? I always have VWAP on my chart. I remember Sean had me on the market recap, which was very cool, and I really appreciated that. And the big thing we talked about was talking about like how VWAP is such an important the word indicator, right? And Sean was like, that's the one indicator you need in the charts, and I really took that to heart. And also, I think I find when it does interact with the stock in a certain way, it can add, dare I say, a confluence, right? And I think what we have here is Eli Lilly, even Saad mentioning here, I think you made the right exit. It finally broke VWAP. I think, not every stock is going to interact with VWAP in such a way, but when it does, it's powerful. Sean saying that NVIDIA entry was based on that VWAP touch and hold and bouncing back off. This Eli Lilly, I like that we didn't break VWAP. When I saw that decisive break of VWAP, I tried to get out ASAP Rocky, right? So I think that's part of, like, if a stock is interacting with VWAP, take note of that and then try to interact in a way that makes sense there. So I think that's kind of what I did here, where I got involved just below VWAP. Probably could have taken everything out there, but that's what I'm trying to say, I guess, is with regards to when something does come into contact with VWAP, I find that pretty powerful. I hope that answers your question to some extent, the boring man, because I think it is a very good question.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. VWAP indicator, and when it's working and you have it stacked with that confluence, I think it can, like you said, it can become a very powerful tool to kind of to get involved with. But yeah, no, not really necessarily taking entries right at VWAP because that's where the price is at. But if you have that confluence, and if you have a bunch of factors of confluence and it's holding VWAP in a very distinct way, then yeah, for sure, it definitely can help with some decision making. I would definitely agree with that as well. And a practical example of Sean kind of showing us that VWAP hold on NVIDIA was quite strong. So you know what I'll do? I will try to throw up a VWAP here on my screen. So on this NVIDIA chart, let's throw up a quick VWAP. So there's your volume weighted average price. I want it to be on that view. We got the red line. Okay, boom, here we go, right there. So let me just pick this up right here. So yeah, strong on the day. Yesterday's high, what's yesterday's high? I think 553 is yesterday's high, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a quick look at that. Yesterday's high is, yes, 543, but this 540 a little bit more interesting as well, as a lot of the action kind of happens here, and you kind of pop into that 543, come right back down. That's on the hourly, but I'm sure if you look at it closer, there's a lot of churn happening at that 540, so kind of showing that interest as well. And that 540 comes in once again and then reclaims the VWAP. So there's your confluence. You're also holding above pre-market. You're holding above this consolidation that we had in the morning, and as well as that, you're holding this higher low relative to the consolidation right at that 540. So it seems like 540 has been a decent place to catch a bid there on NVIDIA. And when you get that confluence with the VWAP, yeah, of course, it makes it a little bit more stronger of an idea there with the right kind of tape as well, right? You want to see the tape kind of holding some of those levels, not really following through. Sellers can't really push it past 540. We've seen 540 test a couple of times. We've gone above it. We've held it as support. You come right back in. 540, you cannot get through it. we pop right back up above VWAP and hold. So I think that's a decent look there.
Yeah, no, thank you for going over that. Yeah, because I think it kind of showed, like, I think one of the biggest things too, when I first got here and I hear everybody saying VWAP, VWAP, I'm like, you know, what is this, right? Because it does come up a lot because it is really important. I think it's something that's always nice to know what it's doing. You know what I mean? So for example here, AMD, someone was mentioning in the chat AMD at VWAP, which is why I pulled it up because I thought it would be kind of interesting with regards to our convo. Forced breathing is tyranny. That's the name of this. I love that username and that saying here, yeah, I'm AMD at VWAP. So I pulled up AMD at VWAP, and like, I mean, yeah, like AMD's been really interesting here. We had this pseudo double bottom at this 147.60 area. We'll have to kind of see what we do here at this 148.40, and I say that because, you know, kind of seeing a bit of a range here. I don't want to get involved just yet, but I think that's an interesting look. Honestly, sort of a weird compression pattern here. Let me draw. Again, I apologize for my trend line struggles. See, when you drew your trend line, they were at least straight. I feel like I have a really hard time drawing mine. Like, you know, like yours, I was like, I can see where it's going. I can see where it is. I feel like I struggle a little bit, but I think this is a fairly defined trend line here. You know, maybe I would even move. I'll move him a little bit. There we go. There we go. But yeah, see, I think we're definitely in some kind of compression pattern here in AMD because we have like slightly higher lows, definitely lower highs. I think an interesting look. Short Smeller, so many great usernames here in the chat, asking about news on PD. I believe I put it in the chat, but I'll say it again. I'm here. Benzinga saying, watching pager duty. Traders circulating. Companies said to consider options amid takeover interest. So that's what's going on with pager duty there. PD. Very interesting look there. But yeah, so, thank you so much, Bears versus Bulls, for reposting what I said here. So appreciate that. Yeah, I just got that off of Benzinga there. But yeah, I think AMD compressing in what appears to be a very interesting way. We'll have to see if it's an AM dip or an AM rip from this point forward. But we're already down on the day, so I'm guessing. Yeah, Robbie V saying bear pennant. I tend to concur there. I tend to agree. But yeah, we'll have to see. Also, Tobias Henderson Hernandez asking for Nicola, and why not? Let's pull up Nicola. I haven't looked at this chart in a very long time. Okay. Another one with actually confluencing at VWAP. So I think this is an interesting, I mean, for our mention of VWAP, I think it's kind of an interesting one to look at. So also Vin just sharing some advice here for the trend lines, which I appreciate. Use the line pattern to place your trend lines, then switch to candles. I'll try that, yeah, because I think that's what my issue is I'm trying to place my trend line on candles, and then it looks really messy. It looks like it's chopping up the lines. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so I mean, look at we bounce right off this double bottom, 10:15. We swoop up into VWAP. Then we kind of dance around the 9 EMA for a little bit, make this high over here, then fall back down. And then Nicola, really interestingly dancing here, just below VWAP, like kind of doing sort of a smiley face around VWAP, then going back higher. We'll have to see. It tried to touch this 78 cent area or 77.8, couldn't quite do it. But yeah, no, I think it's a definitely strong look for Nicola bouncing off VWAP. We're up on the day. The lower lows aren't a great look, but the higher highs certainly are. So yeah, not a bad look here on VWAP. On Nicola. That took me a while there to see what I was saying. Anything else you're looking at here heading into the afternoon power
I am
hour?
looking at this this raging market to the upside. That's what I'm looking at here. But Tahini saying took a loss on XOM. Let's see what XOM is up to here. We did look at it earlier. Again, with oil catching a little bit of a sell. You can see that coming in on Monday, strong sell-off. Tuesday, same prices. Strong sell-off, kind of bids the same area, and then today we finally get past it. So printing a little bit redder on the week on XOM. A bit of a pullback from those 105s and those 110s we've been coming down from here. Yeah, I did have this level marked out from earlier, but yeah, let's take a quick look at an hourly here. Where's the hourly? Right there, boom. So yeah, bit of a stair step off of some of those highs there, kind of just coming back in to some of these previous levels here from before. And I think we looked at the daily as well, right? So yeah, take a look at that. Bit of a chop. And if we get below, what is this price right here? We have not been below this price right here since about 2023 March. So March of 2023, the low is 97.48. We're about a point away from that on XOM. So people talk about breakouts. This is definitely looking like a little bit of a potential breakdown if that bid kind of falls through in and around that area. It seems like we did kind of pop above whenever we did come into this area, but a little bit of a distinct and an elongated trend relative to how we've been coming into the level before on XOM. That's definitely interesting as well. But yeah, a little bit of a level here. Haven't really printed below this since October of 22. So if XOM gets below 97 halves, we haven't seen those prices since October of 22. I think that's pretty interesting as well. Rejecting the higher end of this range here in the 120s, right? It's almost as if it was yesterday. I remember XOM attempting to push those 120s, and we're all like, "Oh, it's going to break through all-time highs," but it comes right back in to the downside. So. Decent look there on XOM. I guess you were long on XOM. Maybe that's how you took that loss. But feel free to enlighten us as to how you took that XOM position, what you did, what were you risking, and what was your idea? What was your thesis behind your execution there, and how did that kind of pan out? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I think that's it. Well, kind of goes. We were talking about trade journaling, and we actually had Wayne was like let us use his journal, kind of an example, which I thought was really cool. And I think one of the big things I learned from that is like, yeah, it's kind of about like planning out the trades and then reflecting. And it's kind of like what you said yesterday and Monday. Like, as long as you planned out the trade and you stuck to your plan, that's really what matters, right? And that's kind of what I learned from that whole lesson as well, which I think is really interesting. And yeah, I think like you know, as long as you kind of stuck to the plan and reflect on maybe why the plan didn't work, that's what I've kind of been trying to do, right? So I think that's definitely a good way of looking at it. PLTR I have pulled up for Shay Deval in the chat, or Delval. Eyes on PLTR looking like it wants to complete that bull flag. Yeah, I mean, I concur. Like, let's draw this. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, Vin was right about the whole like using the line candles. I'm not going to switch to that quite right this second, but I'll draw it just to kind of show this pattern breaking out for now. I did not draw this perfectly, but we're semi-compressing. We're kind of more like a flag than a pennant, but this is a good breakout. Like I was talking about this one earlier. If we do break out of this, and we've been chopping and churning around this area since the midday began, since before the midday began. So this has been a 3-hour little flag forming here. It looks like we actually just might be breaking out now. I think if we break out of this this 1697 area, I think that'll be a good look. I would say the breakout would start around the 1690. An initial breakout was 60 cents. So that would maybe give, I mean, not perfect, but that could give you to about 1750 should this break out properly. Not at all a bad look on Palantir, up 3.5% on the day. We'll have to see if it can make that move, but I think the pattern seems to suggest that. Also, the boring man saying rooting for Tesla and Apple to turn green today. Let's look at Tesla, because I know Patrick Langlois was saying earlier that Tesla looks kind of dead, and I mean I don't disagree here. Tesla, this bottom here at 232.60 has been really interesting. Like we keep kind of coming back to that area, bouncing back off. We did just make a higher high, but we're still down on the day. Like I said earlier, this one looked really compressy, and then it broke out of that, and then kind of didn't do anything. So yeah, Tesla, not a lot to look at here. In terms of specific levels. I want to pull up the daily though, because there was a level I saw on the daily that I found interesting, and I want to, not what I wanted to do there. Pull that up again. There we go. Yeah, so I think this this kind of continued rejection off this 265 is very interesting. I also think that holding at 235 can be interesting, because we 1, 2, now a third time. Seems to be a decent area of support here, but we can't really get that much movement. We had a nice bounce off 235 last time though to 265, and that was on December 18th or 13th, I guess. So I think that would be an interesting look if we can do this again. Have to see what's going on here. 5 minutes left. How are we feeling heading into the rest of the day?
Yeah, again, I'll stay on watch. I'm just it's more just observing right now. We'll see if we have any opportunities going into the closing session as well. Power hour could be interesting. The close could be interesting as well. So I'll stay patient and kind of stay observant until then. But yeah, I was looking at Boeing as well. Again, Boeing, I didn't like the idea of a continuation short yesterday, and it didn't really come in as that 225 held quite well across the day yesterday, and the day before as well, that 226 holding quite well, and now we're getting just a little bit of a sideways chop on Boeing. So I'm curious to know where this kind of goes. I got my line kind of set in here. Not a perfect line. It should be kind of at the lower end of this this gap down reaction type of thing here. But that 225, 226, I'm definitely interested in those prices after this gap down here. But strong churn, strong range is what I'm trying to say here on the initial day when we did gap down. So we have some defined levels here, and we've been pretty much only trading within. Sure, we kind of pushed below yesterday, and that kind of got me excited for the short because I'm like, oh, consolidation, very distinct. Looking for the continuation down on a gap down move, but doesn't necessarily happen. So cleanly, we kind of come back in, reclaim the range, and just start chopping around. And we did kind of attempt to visit the higher end of this range in and around what are those prices right there? 233, 234-ish area here on the Boeing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of this news pans out and how the stock moves relative to the news playing out the way it's kind of setting up to. But yeah, no, the CEO is saying it's perfectly fine. We're going to ramp up. We're going to ramp up our checks and balances on some of the procedures and processes for inspections on the plane. So I think that kind of that might have investors feeling a little bit less wary of Boeing, you know, taking a bit of a sell.
Yeah, I mean, because that one we felt really hard. It's also interesting too. Some people were saying that because I guess Jim Cramer had said some good things about Boeing like right before this news happened. Obviously, Boeing falling down is, I would say, much less what people call the Cramer effect and much more that catalyst. But yeah, just kind of I think kind of an interesting one there. Yeah, Boeing though on the 5-minute, certainly an interesting look here as well. Certainly moving to the downside a bit now, but still up on the day. I'll pull up Mara. We have like 2 minutes left. Let's just look at Mara. Lots of talks about Mara. Very much in the conversation after what I'm going to call the SEC snafu. Also really random, but I thought it was really interesting. So I guess on Gary Gensler's X, they posted this thing called SEC Season's Greetings, which I obviously enjoyed because of the pun. It took me a moment there too, but yeah, SEC Season's Greetings. Yeah, no, I really like Mara kind of to the downside is maybe an interesting look. We hit that that 27.5 area and then continuing to swoop to the downside. Looks like we're hitting this next kind of area. We had a bit of pickup here, this 2660. We'll have to see what we do here, but it looks like we could continue to the downside. I would also, like I always like to do when we kind of have these moves down or moves up, I like to see what areas of interest did we have kind of any traction, right? That might be of interest coming down. So this 2660, I think could be interesting. I would say that 26 area would be interesting. Anywhere we saw a little bit of consolidation before continuing to the upside could also be an area of interest continuing to the downside. But yeah, we got about 40 seconds left. I will take one more look at Lilly just to say I think it's a good example of what I've been keeping out for this because I know Sharif talks about it a lot, and I think it's something I've learned a lot from. Resistance becoming support, support becoming resistance. Eli Lilly, massive kind of resistance here at 630, now becoming some decent support at 630. We slump down, we hit 630, we start coming back up. So I think this is, yeah, quite an interesting look. I know this is stock I'm a little partial towards, but I think today it was over $1 million. I think very interesting look on the day, and I think a good example too on the day of stocks that interact with VWAP in a way that is of note. But yeah, no, we're time to wrap it up. Bears versus Bulls saying Adobe running strong as per usual. I'm happy to be here, and thanks again, Obi, for being here. But for now, are we good to go? Yeah, fabulous. So we're going to hand it over to the big desk. See you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. For now, we're going to go over to Brendan, guys.
Yeah. Hey, guys, yeah, 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here as we get into the final couple hours on a Wednesday as we await any sign of life